The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champions, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it a go stop, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champions.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Well. Blessings morning to all my peeps, right? All my listeners. I want to say welcome to once again another impactful show this morning as it relates to the Mystic Sensation. All right. Today we will be having myself and Melting Pot. Melting Pot has not tuned in as yet, but as soon as he does, then we will make that available. Right. In the meantime, of course, you know that I have to meet my chat group, right? My energizer bunnies. All right. First, let us big up Carly Banks, first in class, right? Beverly, Dahlia Headlam, March 2020. Jonathan Johnson, C. Jam, Veronica Shorter, Richard Reed said, big up Mystic Sensation and the panel and everyone else online listening to you now. All right, we're waiting on the uncertified criminal with his lie. Well, let me say this, Richard. To be honest, I am not going to broadcast him. To be truthful, for people who are waiting, right, for me to broadcast Andrew Holness, I am just not going to broadcast him for the simple reason to the fact that, right, it is just misinformation and disinformation. And Andrew Holness, as we speak, policies are hurting my brothers and sisters, right? I am not going to be in support of someone to even think that I'm going to give him any form of ear time or ear space, right? Knowing that, right, he is actually hurting our Jamaican brothers and sisters, right, on a daily basis. So I'm not going to give him my time, to be truthful. So, and I'm saying this for persons who might be anticipating that we are going to show it. I am just not going to show it, right, to be honest. And I'm very serious about it. I'm not going to show it, right? Let me just, since Melting Pot is here, let me just go ahead and meet and greet other persons. Shaniel Marcus, greeting Mystic, same to you, my dear. Balfour Clark, Malmal Thompson, Petra Key4, Carol Banton, blessings, Daniel Taylor, and at MNC 45778 and Laverne P9R. Bless up yourself, my sister Colleen Scott, right? Rosalie Ricketts, Anne-Marie Donald 5968, Carol Bantan, and Petra Key for, I think I called those already, right? Richard said, true, I will join you, Mystic Sensation, real thing. All right, okay. And Laverne said, agree with you, bro. Of course. We are not going to give him the time of day. We don't give liars, right? And MC 45778 said, big up Mystic, right? Not watching that narcissistic loser, right? We don't do that around here. Michelle Bantan, big up yourself, peace and wellness to you, Mystic. Same to you, my dear. And Anne-Marie Donald, right? Carol Bantan, right? Love the people who are rolling in and all those persons who are rolling in that we did not call, right? Bless up. Know that it is one umbrella. Welcome, love, right? Let me just have Brother Melting Pot just meet and greet his people as usual. Brother Melting Pot, Fiona Burnett, pick up yourself. Yes, my brother.
Blessing,
Oh,
my brother.
sound healthy and strong. Sound healthy and strong this morning. Well, go on.
Well, I mean, on the other side, there must be a vibes, you know. So, you
How
know,
you
when
mean?
I come with the vibes. Yeah,
Yes.
so me I say, enough love and respect as usual to the Mystic Sensation family.
Yes.
You know, I want to just endorse everyone tuning in this afternoon. So I'll just go along and say, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. This is the Mystic Sensation live Tuesday afternoon vibes. And you know what
All right.
name? Yes,
Yes.
laundry technician.
Ah.
That we are dealing with today. You
Yes.
understand? So
Yes.
I big up the people them down the ground zero as usual. Enough love and respect same way.
All
Big
right.
up the people them in the west, you know? 2 mile. Yeah,
Exactly.
big them up. Straight. Christian Road, St. Joseph Road, Mackay Lane, Myrie Lane, Oakland Road, Payne Avenue, Cookan Lane, Norman Lane, Kid Lane, yeah, Union Garden, Delacree Park Housing Scheme, big up on yourself. Oakdale Housing Scheme, big up on yourself, same way. Waltham Heights, Whitfield Town, big up. Ashley Road Crew, big up. Yeah, Gridded Farm, massive, big up. Maxwell, massive, up, same way. And you don't know Jungle Lights, nothing tall. Yeah, enough respect. Big up yourself, Bandy, you know. Yeah, all time junglist friend, Bandy. Big up yourself. Enough love and respect, same way, man. I know everyone love to all blood and fire, comrade, right across the globe. Because you know, this afternoon, we are going to deal with some matters. Real matters. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Once again, thank you, my brother Melting Pot. Jamaica, we have some serious thing that we are going to expose this morning, right, relating to money laundering. And we are happy that we are saying it out loud and clear, right, where the Prime Minister is concerned and where Dushyant Savada is concerned. Over the week, right, we have gotten some new information, and of course, we looked into the movements of cash, right, and some surprising there, right? Evidence show you strong money laundering, and let me say this without any hesitation, right? When you see Dushyant Savadi in terms of any new business, please, I'm telling you, Jamaica, right? It is Andrew Owners. All the business that Dushyant Savada have, I am coming out in saying that. I am coming out. A lot of people are going to say, what? I am coming out. I am confident enough to come out and say it. So we are going to go through and we are going to show, right, Jamaica some shocking things, right? But before we touch that, right, as we said, we are not going to give him any airtime around here, right? And we are going to go to our TVJ, all angles, with, of course, our comrade leader, Mark Golden, right? Speaking to Dean Jackson, right? So we're just gonna show that, and then we cruise in a bit, right? Because you know we are leaving big chunky meat as it relates to Dushyant Savadia and Andrew Wallace, and people are going to see, right? As a matter of fact, I have already called a couple, police officers, and I asked them, people, listen to this. I want you to listen to me. I had a conversation with, some police officers and said, okay, all right, based on these evidence, why Mocha cannot investigate Dushyant Savadia? And you know what, people, I am telling you, just as they say to me, right, that unless the administration change, that is shocking. What that is saying, that is shocking. And I said I'm coming on live to share that. That is shocking. So you are going to tell, and that is one of the reasons why Mocha is not moving aggressively to investigate the Prime Minister. The DPP, again, not moving aggressively. Right? Whatever application in court and anticipating, there are several different areas that the DPP can investigate. Corruption is really tall, my people. Really tall. But anyway, we are going to present the evidence today. But let us get into our comrade leader, Mark Golding and Julian Robinson, right, to also share that in terms of listening. And, you know, it is so refreshing. So refreshing that, you know, you have a leader that is going to tell you the truth. You have a leader who is so experienced. And the sad thing, Jamaica is not, you know, he's not at the wheel. And this is what hits me to the core. To know that our franchise, our political franchise, has been manipulated by a kleptocratic administration. Sickening. Sickening that, you know, the society accept Andrew Holness not to have his statutory declaration certified. Accept him, the PSOJ, umbrella group of churches, academia. It's a shame on you all. Let me say it. I'm not going to mince my word. It's a shame on you all. All of you need to do an introspection from the PSOJ, the umbrella group of churches, academia, civil society, because all of you know that it is wrong. All of you know that it is wrong. But yet you tolerate him. He shouldn't be in our parliament. He shouldn't. He's a disgrace to us. He is indeed a disgrace to our nation. So let me just go to where good governance lies. Well, let us go to where good governance lies. It's a shame. Thing is just sickening.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with you on all angles. Still have with us for the full program the opposition leader Mark Golding and the shadow finance minister Julian Robinson. Just before the break, we're talking about the opposition's position, saying that the government needs to stop
Are you seeing it, Melting Pot?
from the National Housing.
Yeah, man. Oh.
Good.
And I was, well, let Mr. I'd interrupted
Yeah.
Mr. Robinson, because I was saying that we're still seeing the housing trust build, for instance, and provide housing for the 2026-27 financial year. They projected that they'll be building close to 11,000 housing solutions and spending over $50 billion on capital expenditure. So does that doesn't sound like it's sending the message that the housing trust is strapped?
Well, what I would say, the unmet need for housing for persons who are willing and able and would like a house, there are about 200,000 Jamaicans, right? The NHT should be using all its resources where it can. It can provide the infrastructure, whether they put in water, sewage, roads, and then private developers or contractors would bill at a particular price point. You might say to them, you need to deliver a unit between 10 to 15 million. So two people can come together, use their NHT contribution, and they can borrow and start there. Now, what we are seeing is they're not using all the resources that are available to them to provide houses in that market.
But they weren't even before the extraction started.
Well, to me, it's an issue of management. If you have this unmet demand and you have the resources and you can't deploy the resources to meet the need.
All right. So we are giving a little piece of that. Let me stop share this, right? And I am going to speak a little on that, because when you look on the amount of contributions being collected, right, from the contributors, right, billions of dollars, but yet, right, as it relates to low income homes, right, this government is just not interested in building those low income homes, right, so that, you know, people who are, you know, long time contributors, people who are paying in the trust for so long, you understand, can be, you know, lifted up, right, in terms of owning their homes. And this is it in terms of the wickedness, the vulture capitalism, the crony capitalism of Andrew Holness. And he's doing it spitefully. Jamaica is doing it spitefully, right? Now, when you look at that and you realize that during the campaign, he promised that he's going to build over 70,000 NHT homes. 70,000 NHT homes. And you are going to tell me, Jamaica, that he had spent, right, 10 years and just build under 30,000 homes. It is unacceptable. And yet he has the resources. But let me say this. As according to his government claim that he has the resources. Let me rephrase that. Right? Let me rephrase that. Because the People's National Party government is not in to do a true audit of that situation. Because what we know for sure, and we are asking, does NHT really have it? Does NHT really have it? Because the last time we know is that a lot of money came out of NHT and where he had given to his friend Dexim. We know that. Millions of dollars from out of NHT given to his friend Dexim. We haven't gotten back that money. Not only that, people, I want for you to understand this as it relates to the SSL situation, where Nigel Clark, Andrew Holness, and the NHT director know very well that SSL did not have a license and take taxpayers' money, put it into SSL, knowing to the fact that SSL doesn't have a license to trade. So I don't know what they are going to do. And these are the things, you know. Mocha, what are you doing? Mocha, when you hear something like this, Mocha, why are you still sitting? Why are you still sitting down, not doing anything? DPP, when you hear something like this, when the DPP have the understanding, and we all learn that SSL don't have a license, right? The DPP should say, what? Then if SSL don't have a license, why NHT, NIS, EdTax, and other monies were put into SSL? And you're going to tell me that the DPP is not politically biased and not politically aligned? For a DPP that's going to be the DPP for Jamaica, and the DPP hears something that, so let me say, let me ask this. The DPP hasn't heard that? There are so many ways to pursue Andrew Holness' administration apart from what he applied in court to utilize the late tactics. There are so many avenues, so many different avenues. And what I'm speaking about is 100% true. They all know, Mocha know. So many avenues, right? Let me just go to Melting Pot. I would presume that Melting Pot, you want to speak on NHT contribution, and then we go. Oh, okay, all right. Let me just put you into that.
Yeah, because you know, the NHT contribution is from the contributors, and the contributors are people who work and pay them tax over to government already, and then do them little saving towards, you know, gaining a home through the NHT housing distribution project. Now, I don't see under no circumstance a government, yeah, should endear itself to using all the various agency money, yeah, and put into a Ponzi scheme. You know, because if Andrew Willis want to go in him go in with him own personal money. But from the gist, when me I dissect, Andrew never put for him personal money, you know. Andrew put all the agency the money in it. Because we can hear from the CEO and from the other CEO them throughout the various agency them as it relates to if them get back the money where Andrew put in at SSL. Because Andrew knew about what was going on and withdraw is. So him should have withdraw the rest of money when put in from the agency. If it's as him said. But based on what we are looking on, Sir Byron, yeah, Andrew scam the taxpayers again.
Of course.
By taking the money, put it into the entity SSL, which is a Ponzi scheme, which not a license. So when them advertise them do, them cannot do it. Them cannot trade. You understand? In a no stocks. They can't do that because them do have a license. Andrew Willis know about that. Nigel Clark know about that. Richard Biles know about that. And Keith Duncan know about that. Yeah. And the lady in charge of FID, she know about that. You understand? All of them know about the runnings we are going. So Andrew need to come talk to the public, you know, at large and make them know what are going for them money there. And the CEO them from the representative, yeah, agency, them need to come talk as well. Because Jamaica people need to know the true, you know, state of affairs as it relates to them money there. Because NHT now do what it's supposed to do, you know. NHT become in a love affair with the government. And them hierarchies them like Dexim. Dexim gets 650 million, you know. But Dexim wasn't even qualified to build houses. Dexim didn't have any machinery to begin with. Dexim wasn't a construction company. Dexim was just a brethren to Andrew Willis. And Andrew say, all right, see a piece of Jamaica taxpayers' cake here. Go and go make a life with it. As so taxpayers' money are running at Jamaica under this government. So the taxpayers them need answer for their money. Because I will show you how disgraceful the man is. The man will take up the NHC money and give him friend. And he might take $11.4 billion a year time for himself. But when housing problem arising at Jamaica and need solution, the man want run go to China go bring container come. How despicable this guy is. You understand? Because I know for a fact said Michael Manley, when he put the NHT, yeah, into play, it was to play for the working class people them and provide house for them. Not for play for Andrew Holness and him friend them. Because them take housing trust for a play thing, you know. The man up a housing trust, him supposed to identify UDC land, yeah, and make recommendation. And when it's been approved, him go and build house pan that. It's not Andrew only supposed to be building the house. Andrew Willis is not connected or tied to NHT. The person up there running NHT, that is the person who's supposed to look about the housing solution and supposed to deal with housing solution for the working class people who have been paying their contribution for years and can't get a shed, much less a house. While Andrew friend them have $650 million invest, and the man have a clue about building house. He now have no machinery to begin with. He's not a construction company, but Andrew put him on that ladder. He and stifle the poor people them using them money for him own self-benefit and self-gain. Now we want some clarity on that. And we are asked the CEO in charge of National Housing Trust to please come and explain the situation as it relates to the money where Andrew Wallace take from NHT and put in a SSL. We want to also know about the money, the 650 million that was given to Dexim. You understand? Yeah, we want to know how that go. Because up to recent, yeah, we know the money never given back. You understand? So we want to know what is going on in that regard. Because Jamaican need to have the assurance that whenever them save their money in any entity, it has been well looked after and protected. And a prime minister not supposed to go dibble and dabble in that. That is not central government funding. That is a private contribution fund. You understand? And so Andrew Wallace has no rights in the first place to ever even harbor the thoughts of entering into NHT like he's the man in charge of NHT. Andrew Wallace is not the man in charge of NHT. NHT is an independent body, yeah, that is run on a day-to-day basis by contributors funding. You understand? Not government funding. So the government is supposed to have no authority for a rule over NHT CEO and its management staff. So Andrew Wallace need to come, set the record straight with that. Because we not gonna just make this SSL thing just die out, so and we not get some clarity as it relates to where the money that was taken from the entity, where has it gone? Because we know not go back to the entity. Who has that money? Because remember, crash grab a lot of asset, So all these entities, yeah, that find themselves entangled with SSL based on the Prime Minister reckless action must be refunded whatever money that was put into SSL. And Andrew Wallace must make sure that is accomplished. We not deal with no if but no baby no Andrew. You have to make sure that you gonna go take the people money, But anybody could have said from the outset say that is a scam. Why would you want to go and take money from NHT, NIS, education, funding, and all them entities there? Why would you do that? What constitutes you trying to make those entities get benefit by investing their money? That's not the job the Jamaican people require from you. They require good governance. You working from the office of the Prime Minister and running the country's affairs on a day-to-day basis, but not in terms of business structure. Everything where Andrew wants to do a business structure, And the business structure is all about enriching himself and his friend them. Him now do nothing to enhance the development of the country so the wider society can benefit. Him and the Foreign Affairs Minister, them don't seek outside investors for come in and provide work for the low class people them. Yeah, the minimum wage people them we are talking about and the middle class. The only investment where them are bring come at Jamaica, and the multi-billion investment for them and them friend in the hotel sector. Right? There's nothing more going on in Jamaica but renting a room in a hotel, all inclusive. Nothing else. Agriculture dead. The backside, the levy gone. So that now bring no income to Jamaica again. You understand? And the airport, for them thing gone, Gone in a bungle. And you can't wait to get the money yearly, And you draw down the money in a bungle. The Norman Manley International Airport, 12-year concession in draw down one time. The Songsters International Airport, 10-year concession in draw down one time. and a total of 130 billion Jamaican dollars. Andrew only so want no warm to them money there. Warm to the 130 billion dollars from the 2 international airport. What happened to that money? We need to know. At one point in time, Nigel Clark said he was pushed to take money from AAJ and put in a holding. That crashed to, you know. You understand? So, a peer bangarang and corruption and mafiaism around Jamaica, led by this crime minister, Andrew Wallace. DPP, me sure know about these events. And Andrew not supposed to be no untouchable guy in Jamaica. Because democracy don't allow for that. Dictatorship allow that. But Jamaica is not a dictator country. Jamaica is a democracy country. So all these type of dictatorship role are playing in the country. Where Andrew do anything, him over and above every law, him break them. Nobody pursue him. Mocha not pursue him. DPP not pursue him. Civil society not pursuing him. Umbrella group of churches not pursuing him. Them even not take gift from him. 75 million with here. And we don't know where that for. You understand? But yet still, you know, people with them house not get 75 million or 7 million or 5 million or nothing come close to them money there, you know. A smittering them get 75,000, 200,000 and 500,000. All that for build back house. But yet still, when Andrew build some cardboard house like up at Edmund Ridge there, a 16 and 20 million for them cardboard house there. But Andrew want to get the people them some little peanut money to build back them home. So we are called upon civil society group in a Jamaica. We cannot allow one man to run with the country. Pan him back and over him shoulder. I don't think that look right. While the majority of Jamaican people are suffering, can't even find food. But this guy have every luxury item in the world. And him don't earn it honestly. Him don't earn it honestly, you know. Andrew Holness' genesis of wealth cannot be explained. So when a man can't explain how him start him wealth, you know him a criminal. A melting pot not afraid to say Andrew a criminal, big time. We not political correct around here, so you know. I mean, I no respect for a guy when statutory declaration cannot be certified from 1998. From him enter into politics, him enter into politics as a criminal. Him enter into politics with a mentality to rob the country wealth. You understand? And to destroy because at the end of the day, you know, the voters' rights must be upheld at all times and must be recognized
as it relates
by anyone who take the office of the Prime Minister and become the chief civil servant of the country. The country must be served by all means with transparency and accountability. You can't just use the money if you run the country at your own, you know, discretion without any consultation. Yeah, look at the $1.4 billion. No consultation, but it gone to Pumbad and end up running the election. But now have to end up steal the election. So yes, a whole thing want to fix in Jamaica right now. Yeah? So we are called upon the DPP. You say if you can't do the job,
yes,
resign the post.
Yes.
The commissioner of police, you need to resign.
We are not going to give him any room.
Ineffective. Your role is ineffective as it relates to policing. MOCA, which is a state agency, it's not performing. As a matter of fact, recent, grapevine, outlined that MOCA is in the grip of the hands of the Prime Minister and several more of those agencies are in the grip of the hands of the crime minister. Mighty God. So we are saying we are going to Jamaica. I saw Jamaica wrap up in a corruption. Andrew tie up every sector in a corruption. Andrew have everybody are lean towards him and not leaning towards the reality, which is honesty. Everybody are lean toward this guy and everybody know the guy is a criminal. Unexplained wealth. And we are talking about insubordinate amount of wealth. The wealth is too much for this guy in a third world country. Over a 10-year period, he amassed that amount of wealth. And then you look now.
All right, Melton Pot, use 1 more minute. Melton Pot, use 1 more minute to wrap up. Please.
You see him bring a guy from India, broke in at 2015, but the guy a billionaire in a 10 year as well, you know. This guy is a billionaire in a Jamaica. Come the broke 2015, him state that all time out. But now the guy is a billionaire and who him itch up round? Andrew Holness, the crime minister. I yield back the floor.
All right, blessings. All right, Jamaica, we know that, and someone just put in the chat that, Andrew Holness, either doubling down as it relates to FinSac. Jamaica, let me say something. There are two issues with the FinSac situation that all created by the Jamaica Labour Party, and we are not lying. I'm going to spend, before I get into the Dushi and Savadia and show Jamaica, right, and asking again on this platform if they are not going to investigate Dushi and Savadia. So, but before I get into that, I want to answer, right, and show Jamaica that the two situations, right, that deals with the FinSac, and particularly the primary situation as it relates to bad loans and the banks and all of that. We are going to show the origination of that. So Jamaican people, I want you to look on the presentation that I'm going to show. When Andrew Holness speaking about FinSac and talk about high interest rate, I'm blaming Omar Davis for the high interest rate. What Andrew Holness is not telling the people is not telling the people that Omar Davis allowed the high interest rate to carry over as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party administration. So I want to go through and show people that the high interest rate actually started by Edward Seaga. And why was the high interest rate? Because Seaga bankrupt the economy. So we are going to look on the genesis, you understand, that started, right, into FinSac. The genesis, right? The pre-FinSac situation that lead up to the 90s financial meltdown that caused FinSac, right, to remedy the situation. So FinSac wasn't the problem, you know. FinSac exists, right, to remedy the situation, and that is what we are going to prove. And I'm going to prove it in detail. The way I'm going to prove it, there is no other persons can tell you anything. And for persons who want to challenge anyone, use today's demonstration that we are going to demonstrate. Now look at this, my Jamaican people. Let me get into that and highlight this. Right? Now, first, listen to this, Jamaica.
How Jamaica's debt exploded under Edward Seaga. Not reduced, not stabilized, exploded. Before the 1980 election, he promised a full economic reset. He opened up the economy, rebuild investor confidence, cut government waste, and bring back foreign investment. He vowed to create a fertile climate for foreign and local investment and make Jamaica the success story of the Caribbean. But a few years later, Seaga was blamed by US experts for Jamaica's poor economic outlook. They warned that the government failed to create the investment climate it promised. Washington was shocked. This was the man they backed to prove free market economics could work in the Caribbean. And while the reform stalled, Jamaica's debt skyrocketed. According to the ODI's study using IMF data, Jamaica entered 1980 already carrying around 120% of GDP in debt. But the IMF says that during the 1980s, the debt to GDP ratio shot up to near 200% of GDP. That's one of the worst debt spikes in the Western Hemisphere during that period. By 1989, economists say Jamaica's debt was around 150% of national income. External debt exceeded 200% of export earnings. So, while Jamaican politics in the 80s gets the most attention, Tivoli, the Cold War, Seaga versus Manley, the real story is the debt crisis. Because when Seaga failed to deliver the investment boom he promised, Jamaica was forced into decades of borrowing, IMF agreements, wage freezes, and slow growth that shaped life well into the 2000s.
Okay, so my Jamaican people, let me show you how clinical Mystic Sensation is. So I play that video clip, but I don't leave it there for one to talk to say, okay, anyone can say anything on any clip. You know what I did, Jamaica? I done the research to support that previous clip that I played. And the research in terms of what I done. You know what I also did, Jamaica? I am going to have you listen, not to a PNP person, not to just an ordinary Jamaican. I am going to have you listen to a stalwart of the Jamaica Labour Party who decided that, listen, the Jamaican people need to hear the truth, and the Jamaican people need to know what is going on as it relates to the younger generation. That JLP stalwart is well educated. Someone, you understand, that attained his PhD. So you're not talking about a simple person here. You're talking to somebody who worked for broadcast overseas. And so then I'm going to have him show you what happened and what caused the FinSac. The propaganda that Edward Seaga spread, that Michael Manley is going communist. He worked with the CIA to destroy democratic socialism. Let me teach you people. Under Michael Manley, as it introduced to democratic socialism, let us ask a question. What type of economic model we were using? The economic model that we were using was what we call the mixed economic model. Simple means the private sectors and government, they go at the table and make decisions equally to balance the society, right? Equal opportunity throughout the length and breadth of Jamaica. Now, as you heard the clip, that Edward Seaga worked with the CIA to mash down democratic socialism, lies, and kill the mixed economy, and go free market economy. Let us speak. Let us speak and go free market economy. Now, remember, in Michael Manley days, who we have visited us, a lot of people don't know this, you know, that the Singapore president or prime minister visited Jamaica and adopt Jamaica economic model under Michael Manley. People, you need to research. Please, I'm asking you to do your research. The Singapore prime minister came to Jamaica because, I mean, the economy was just going so good, so great. Michael Manley, right, increased the bauxite levy. Jamaica was sailing smooth. Edward Seaga poisonous. And so then, what we have when Edward Seaga took over from Michael Manley, the evidence goes to show that we are going to prove it today. So not, you know, just hearing me talking out of my big mouth, right? When Michael Manley exited in 1980, Seaga had gotten the economy 63% debt per GDP ratio. I want to make people to listen to me. We don't care what I want to talk about in a parliament and in a finsack. How liar that, deceitful, you understand, vicious and wicked. The debt per GDP ratio that Seaga, right, I mean, well documented, well recorded. 63% debt per GDP ratio. What does that mean? It simply means out of every dollar, we could use 63 cents out of every dollar to pay our debt and still have 37 cents to use. Economy sailing good. When Seaga took it over, I am going to stop here, mouth silent, now zip my lip. I am going to go to the document where Shalman Scott, Jamaica Labour Party stalwart, is telling the Jamaica Labour Party, said, look, stop telling the people lies. It is not good. The people need to hear the truth. This is a Jamaica Labour Party stalwart. The man is telling the Jamaican people and telling Jamaica Labour Party, say, stop it. Stop it. Stop, tell lies. Look on the document. Let me go to the document. Let me go to the document. Let me go to the document, people. Here it is. Jamaica debunking the myths about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. See him there? See the old vampire? See the old vampire? He is the person who put our economy in a tailspin. Him. Right? Me don't know them put on our theme name. Now, here it is. Jamaica's economic management has taken a turn in fairly recent time and is returning to the very scenario that we have long passed in the 1980s. With all its compelling lessons, pains, and unprecedented pressures on our citizens. For the benefit of our young people, and this is why I really respect Shalman Scott, for the benefit of the future generation coming forward, right? Andrew Holness with his misinformation and disinformation is poisoning the mind, and even now he's in parliament doing that. And here is Shalman Scott warning him, for the benefit of our young people and those who have forgotten that period in the 1980s, where Andrew Holness now, they use it to manipulating Jamaican people after robbing our treasury. Hear what Shalman Scott said. I will do a brief revisit so that there is greater clarity about what happened under Prime Minister Edward Seaga and the Jamaica Labour Party. As Shalman Scott, this, you know, he has never run on a PNP ticket, you know. Jamaica, let me put him on. This is Shalman Scott. That see name there? Shalman Scott that never run on a PNP ticket, you know. No, this article is not a get Eddie Seaga exercise, but a continuation of my attempt to purge our social, cultural, economic, and political history of lies. When you listen to people, listen. When I say Shalman Scott came out, it is getting too bad with Andrew Holness. It's a goddamn disgrace. A disgrace to our race, a disgrace to our nation, a disgrace to the country. A Shalman Scott coming out. But Shalman Scott have to come out. This is not a PNP person. He has never run on a PNP ticket. But the man simply is coming out and said enough is enough. These are lies. And you must stop from telling it. Now, this article is not a get Eddie Seaga exercise, but a continuation of my attempt to purge our social, cultural, economic, and political history of lies, half-truths, omissions, because we have seen Andrew Ones and his minion omitting several information to what? Stay in power, because you know the very moment that you come out of power, you will be going into prison. Mark Golden is going to send you to prison. You know that. So all what you are doing now, and even now as we speak in Parliament with all your lies, Shalman Scott is warning you, embellishments, and the general dishonesty, Andrew Ones. So come and place in the reportage and recording of this story. In short, too much of our history, oral or written, simply lacks integrity. Andrew Ones need to hear this. You are now in Parliament telling lies. In short, too much of our history, oral or written, simply lacks integrity, and the political period of the 1980s is no exception. I feel quite justified in writing about the facts of the period reference as I recall and saw it. I do so dispassionately and objectively. I was the first mayor of the city of Montego Bay, JLP councillor for 13 consecutive years for Rose Hall Division in the parish of St. James for 13 consecutive years. You know. This is Shalman Scott was served Jamaica Labour Party as a councillor for 13 consecutive years. I was also regional supervisor for Western Jamaica and Ocean Race for the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, and that union spokesman on tourism. You're not talking about no fenke person, you know. Well established, distinguished gentleman you're speaking about. In addition, I was lecturer in Caribbean Trade Union History at the University of the West Indies, School for Continuing Studies, Western Jamaica, the Jamaica Maritime Institute, and the Jamaica Tourist Board Visitor Information Section, Montego Bay area. So the man is showing out his accolades, you know. Right? To show you that you're not talking about any ordinary person. You're talking about an extraordinary individual. I was also visiting lecturer in the History and Social Science Department at the Northern Caribbean University, Mandeville, Manchester. Later on, I was host of the RJR program aired from Montego Bay called The Western Response, produced by veteran journalist and broadcaster Marlene Stevenson Daly. I have been a political analyst for multiple media platforms for over 33 years, Jamaica, no listen good, here in Jamaica and occasionally for the British broadcast radio. We are talking about somebody, a distinguished person who have done media work, you understand, for well-established BBC radio. BBC radio. So you are getting the 100% truthfulness, objectiveness. Now, I have also been a retired businessman in tourism since 2006. All this to mostly humbly make the point that I was and have indeed been in the thick of things from back then. So he knows what he's talking about. And that I have always loved my country and its people who have done so much for me, even as I make my small contribution to it. And so I am continually grateful. That is why I write particularly for succeeding generations, including my own dear grandchildren. The man want to speak the truth. The man want generation to live and know the truth. Not an Andrew Ones kleptocratic administration, a set of criminals who are robbing Jamaica, a set of thieves. What I have been hearing about this period of the 1980s and the impression that narrative conveys is not only a steep stretching of the truth of what transpired, but the misleading of the young people in particular is of concern to me, and therefore I am compelled to act. Listen what the man said here in Jamaica. Listen what the man said. To show you that Andrew Wallace have no, so despicable. The man has no moral compass. Believe it, people, no moral compass. He's as filthy as they can get. A thief in our parliament. Someone who never planned to have good governance. A criminal. Him and his cabinet in our parliament. What I have been hearing about this period of the 1980s and the impression that the narrative conveys is not only a steep stretch of the truth of what transpired, but the misleading of the young people in particular is of concern to me, and therefore I am compelled to act. He couldn't have been seated there and hear Andrew Wallace telling the lies and hear the GLP swinging the lies. The Big Mama, the Morgan, you name them. No, Hedy Seaga total political life did not begin and end with this period of the 1980s. While that period is the focus of this article, overall, there are some positives to Seaga's political life. So there it is, you know. You understand? He's bringing out the clarity, which have been amplified, right, recorded in many places, including works such as the production of books by him. Considered by some to be a bright man, Seaga has played no small role in the institutional building of this nation, and I admire him for not being a politician who sought to feather his political nest financially as far as it appears. That is what he's saying. Some people would trust him to keep their dollar, but he also was far from being a saint. And that side of his personality, political activities, and utterances continue to make some people feel uncomfortable, and his tit-for-tat policy made others cringed. Now listen, people. To now hear all the nonsense being peddled about the period of the 1980s just won't cut it like what Andrew Wallace is doing. And I will not allow the purveyors of the truth, right, which is Andrew Wallace and him bang around them, of the rubbish, to have a field day uninterrupted and taking more than a cruel advantage of those who have forgotten. Want to hear that, people? A Shalman's got this, you know. Those who were too young to recall and those who were born after this period. This article is dedicated to them, especially as my contribution to their clarity relative to our political history in particular. So people, him set the record straight. Now listen as we go down. It is not intended to be an anti-Seaga article, but historical facts about a specific time in our political journey as a nation. This period within the context of the history of international economy was called the Second Gilded Period. The first Gilded Period was known as the Great Depression of 1929. The Second Gilded Period manifests itself in the form of international debt crisis, with a universal political response of structural adjustment in the form of reconfiguration of the economics of less developed and undeveloped economies, particularly the response from the World Bank. Want to listen now, people. The International Monetary Fund and the Paris Club was debt rescheduling, restructuring, and debt forgiveness. Remember, you know. Well, he's going to explain it in the article. I'm not going to say anything. The finance minister of Mexico in 1982 announced that Mexico would unilaterally reschedule its debt in the first flagging of the enormity of the crisis. The two oil price shocks of the previous decade, coupled with the program of economic destabilization, which incorporated the flight of capital and massive closure of business and loss of jobs, created monumental damages to the tune of 30% loss of the GDP of the Jamaican economy. By 1976, the BOJ ran out of reserves, right? By 1976, the BOJ ran out of reserves, reflecting a negative balance which lasted for the next 20 years, ending in 1996. Now, this is the hand that Seaga was dealt, and which he enthusiastically shuffled the deck as the paramount local political agent of the process of destabilization. Any claim, therefore, that the 1980s was a period of progress is one of aggravated dishonesty. Andrew Holness, if you know that. Here is Shalman Scott telling him the way he want to make Seaga look good. Shalman Scott is saying any claim, therefore, that the 1980s was a period of progress is one of aggravated dishonesty. Now Shalman Scott is going to give it to them. Externally, there were serious tensions in the world. These include the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the Iraq-Iran War of 1980 to 88, the continuing conflict and tension associated with the Arab-Israeli War in the previous decade, which precipitated contortions and distortions and the reconfiguration and of the structure of the Jamaica economy in the 1980s. Now, hear it now, people. Seaga lost control and became more of a reactive functionary rather than a proactive and transformational leader. What does that mean? He did not have any proactive plan. He did not have any form of solid know-how to build the economy. Right? You know, have none of that. Just like how Andrew Holness don't have none of that. And in general, GLP don't have none of that. And that is one of the reasons why they have not created, you understand, adequate social programs, although they are the ones who mostly in power. They have not. Here it is. Seaga lost control and become more of a reactive functionary rather than a proactive and transformational leader. He responded to the challenges of the crisis with abrasiveness, insults, and threat against the Jamaican people. You hear that? No. This is where the man are going at the truth now. In 1980, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaican debt to GDP ratio was 63%. People see that? See the evidence there? Me not lie. Melting pot is not lying. Lonesome is not lying. See it and come at the world know. 1980, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaican debt to GDP ratio was 63%. What that mean? Out of every dollar, 63% to pay down our debt. We still have 37 cents. But look, people, what happened? The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP right in 1989. This triggered the high interest rate policy with Andrew Holness talking about. And Andrew Holness now in Parliament, not speaking the truth. Andrew Holness currently in Parliament, not speaking the damn truth. Here it is. In 1980, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaican debt to GDP ratio was 63%. What did he do with the economy? The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989. But let us give some more clarity on that. Between 1983, my Jamaican people, to 1989, Seaga controlled all 60 seats. All 60 seats. Seaga have control of the upper house and the lower house. And with all of that, control all policy position and still feel no other politician in the history of the entire Caribbean feel miserable like this. Down to even the United States who helped them. United States said Seaga let them down. It is a shame, it is a disgrace. Now, which represent an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica indebtedness over the 9-year period of the GLP Seaga administration. So then, Andrew Holness, haven't you known this truth? Haven't you known these facts? Why then you go into parliament and lying to our Jamaican people? Why are you doing that? Many of you don't like to hear when I speak because we deliver the truth around here. There it is. So why are you doing this and talking about blaming the People's National Party for the 90s financial meltdown? What happened to you, sir? You lick your head? No. Any single-digit growth in the economy in the face of the growth in debt was of no particular significance and consequence. It must be noted that the source of the minimal growth over the period was primarily due to a reduction in the oil price, right, in 1986 and beyond. Contrary to popular belief, this was not due to any successful investment projects nor any new investment apart from sweatshops, right, in the garment industry. Seaga done nothing to the economy. Nothing would have destroyed the economy. David Rockefeller, who came to turn Jamaica into the Singapore of the Caribbean, because remember, you know, right, for the earlier years, the Singapore Prime Minister came to Jamaica, you know, sat down with Michael Manley, you know, and adapt our economic model, you know, to show you that the country was going on well good under Michael Manley, you know. And Seaga telling nasty lie with him CIA, damage democratic socialism, you understand? And I tell you something, burn down the economy, Seaga, we don't tell no lie upon him. David Rockefeller, who came to turn Jamaica into the Singapore of the Caribbean, packed his bag and left Jamaica in less than 5 months of his arrival, following several disagreements with Seaga. The man was a damn nincompoop, no have no form of strategy to build the economy. I have no form of strategy that David Rockefeller have to pack up and left him. Mad head, sick, no good. Most ironically, the flight of capital continued under Seaga with ExxonMobil, the principal oil refinery, pulling out of Jamaica under Edward Seaga. Pull out of Jamaica. I'm wipe my face here. Come here, give me today, you know, in a parliament. Yeah, give me today, you know. Because I know what I'm going to go do, you know, with the dirty line. I show the people and the facts, you know. You think I'm not plan film? Eh? Think I'm not plan film this morning? Well planned film, you know. Now, the gas station lines were long and uncomfortable as people who had urgent business to attend to were locked in gas lines for hours. Life in Jamaica began to make no sense under Edward Seaga. Migration and brain drain, right, gain momentum. People want to hear the truth, you know. The major backside companies followed closely behind Exxon, leaving Jamaica under Edward Seaga. Want to hear that? Want to listen, you know, people. Want to listen. From 1980 to 1983, the GLP government under Seaga failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. You know, listen now. Let me go by line. I want to listen, people. Him there in a parliament, me there, so. Him there in a parliament, me there, so. Now, the PNP, look, from 1980 to 1983, the GLP government under Seaga failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. For sure, so them have no strategy whatsoever. Omar Davis passed 12 consecutive IMF tests. Seaga failed all of them. GLP failed all of them. I'm not talking about on build Jamaica. Man, I'm not talking about our parliament. Come out and leave the parliament alone on the robbers. On our criminals. On our scammers. Come out and leave the parliament and make Jamaican people become successful. On our suppressors. On our oppressors. The PNP did not contest, and so the GLP had all 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. Mighty God. And when they have 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in Senate, what did they do? What did they do? With no opposition in Parliament, Seaga began to indiscriminately wheel his axe. Mighty God. No opposition, no did enough to protect the people. So tell me, Jamaica, how to have Edward Seaga and give him honor? Which part the man have the 60 seat, right, in Parliament, 21 in the Senate, and the man make sure say him axe down Jamaica economy. This included the tax acts as well as axing of many government departments, resulting in widespread closures and thousands of redundancies. He did not go into the Parliament to build Jamaica economy. He went in there to break it down, to mash it down, to damage it, Jamaica. Jamaica, Seaga went into the Parliament in the 80s to damage, to flatline our economy. Look at this people. 18,000 people. Public sector workers, you know, lost their jobs, you know, people. Hold on, people, I don't know, make up it. You mean a Parliament? Me say, you mean a Parliament, me there, so. See ya, the PNP did not contest. And so the GLP had all 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. For all those little children who GLP are trying to trick, I want the parents to tell them now to come in front of social media, find Mystic Sensation. We don't need to know the truth. Don't be poisoned by the Jamaica Labour Party. With no opposition in Parliament, Seaga began to indiscriminately wheel his axe. This including the tax acts as well as the axing of many government departments, resulting in widespread closures and thousands of redundancies. 18,000 public sector workers lost their jobs. He dismantled the structure of local government system, leaving the parish council with the singular responsibility of managing markets and cemeteries. Mighty God, bereft of funds, the only duty left for mayors to perform without authority of the Minister of Local Government was that of approving and exhuming of dead bodies. Jesus, peace. You know what is wicked on this? The KCSE was abolished. Look, people, listen to all of them. Listen to the damage what Edward Seaga done to us. Listen, Jamaica, sit here. The KCSE was abolished. Duckenfield and Grey in Sugar Estates were closed. Manic Teachers College and Jamaica School of Agriculture closed. An action system introduced where those who wanted foreign exchange to conduct business could apply to BOJ twice per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Several hospitals were either closed or downgraded, including Ulster Springs, Spalding, Alexander. Do we see the same commonality with Andrew Honest right now? Dealing with Canal Regional Hospital. When you see the same commonality, when you see a Seaga, when you see Andrew Honest a Seaga protege, Noel Holmes in Lucy, Hardly in St. Thomas, listed to be downgraded and not to be a Tressa. The community health aid program was abolished. The spraying of ganja, justifiable or unjustifiable, were damaging of the legitimate economic efforts of the rural poor, in particular beef farmers and coffee farmers. Understand what the man do? Understand what the man do? You understand? Spray out the ganja, kill out many crops. Want to tell me, say, you understand? No hate and victimization from Edward Seaga. And here is now Andrew Honest and protege will come even more cruel than him. Things got so bad at the BOJ that in 1985, a load of crude oil arrived to be offload. Look for the embarrassment now, Jamaica. Look for the embarrassment. Now tell you what they go on. Right? And Andrew Honest in a parliament, I tell you lie them, you know. Things got so bad at BOJ that in 1985, a load of crude oil arrived to be offload at the Montego Bay terminal, but the captain refused to unload the oil until he received payment from the JLP government. This is how bad it was. You Art, as Minister of Tourism and Energy during that time, had to quickly gather up with the help of police, US dollars donations from private businessmen in Mobile to pay for the crude oil. For show you how Edward Seaga wrecked the country. Michael Manley handed it over to him. 63% debt per GDP ratio. And Seaga carried up to 200 and we don't have no money. Even when we pay with debt, we still owe. Get it no people. Even when we pay the little debt we're supposed to pay, we still owe. Country not no money. Seaga wreck it. Seaga flatline it. And have 60 members of parliament with 21 senators and them flatline the economy. How could you ever vote for a GLP? How could you ever be a GLP? You betray the trust of the Jamaican people by you just merely being a GLP. By you just consider, by you just be a GLP, you betray the trust of the Jamaican people. After a successful effort of the GLP government begging private citizens to pay its bill, oh my God, what a disgrace. What a disgrace. The BOJ was able to pay the cargo ship captain his money. He unloaded the crude oil and left Jamaica shores. Mighty God, people. And I mean a parliament, you know. I mean a parliament that tell lie, you know. One of the manifestations of the policies of Seaga in the 1980s was the dramatic increase of the flow of people on the streets selling for survival. You hear that, people? Selling for survival, you know. These were the victims of downsizing and right-sizing program gleefully pursued by Seaga for crippling the economy, damaging Jamaica. You know, listen, people. Make him in a parliament and tell him lie. Me there say the truth. The misery index rose exponentially. And in 1989 election, Seaga and GLP lost 45 out of the 60 parliament seat. And 4 years later, the GLP lost 7 more in the elections of 1993. People done with them. People done with them. This represents a total of 52 seats within 4 years after being in power for 9 years leading up to the 1989 election. The crisis when them put people on. But the transgressive years pass by. You understand? The new generation come in and them forget. Right? So I am reminding you, and I'm glad Shalman Scott is reminding you, a true Jamaican this. They are going to attempt to pass off the 1980s as anything but an ugly, painful period for the Jamaican people. It's a tantamount to the GG being given a throne speech to read in 2011 by the then GLP government that the economy has fully recovered. Never. Right? This after the IMF cut the flow of funds, right, from the previous year in June 10, right, to Jamaica, and the national debt in 2011. I see that thing again, you know. This is Bruce Golden time now, you know, people. And Andrew Wallace time, you know. Only listen, you know, people. See it? To show you that Shalman Scott no partial, him skip over Michael Manley period again, you know. And PJ Patterson period again, you know. And I define Bruce Golden period, you know. Why did he skip? Let us ask the question, Jamaica. Come on, look it up. Why did he skip over Michael Manley and PJ Patterson period? You know why? Because Michael Manley came back, right? And started to build back the economy. PJ Patterson came back and built back the economy and finished pay off the IMF. So Shalman Scott cannot speak about the Michael Manley after 1989 because it was good period. It goes to tell you that Shalman Scott is telling you that Michael Manley and PJ Patterson build the economy strong again. The man jumped from 1989 and look what him reach now. See there now, see the big jump the people more want to see it and more want to read with understanding, you know. See that they are going to attempt to pass after 1980s as anything but an ugly, painful period for the Jamaican people is tantamount to the GG being given a throne speech to read in 2011 by the then JLP government that the economy has fully recovered. When you hear what the man talk about the period with Andrew Holness, you know, in 2011, you know, telling lies about the period fully recovered, you know. Now watch this now. The man jumped the period of Michael Manley, right, and jumped the period of PJ Patterson. And that is one of the reasons why PJ Patterson time show you that under PJ Patterson time, he established, you understand, so much social program and PR of the IMF. See there? Shalman Scott did not define him. Now, this after the IMF cut the flow of funds from the previous year in June 10. And the previous year in June 10 would be what? 2009. Right? Bruce Golden period. So 2009, IMF cut Jamaica off. And the national debt in 2011 was growing by an average of $10 billion per month. You hear? This 2011 under Andrew Holness. So this propaganda is taking advantage of the young, uneducated, but indolent section of the population that are frequently and fluently repeating the foolishness. And that's why the man have to come out. When you run out with the vote buying, telling lie. And you're in a parliament as we speak, telling lie. Time has passed and even the present political practitioners need to be refreshed. When you hear that, and that's why we are refreshing them now. As they are only human, equally important, the people need to be refreshed cerebrally. And that is what we are doing now and show you the truth. For hearing lies, the importance of staying the course for what can happen is real, for it has happened before. If many people are told the extent to which things can get bad and shown dramatically, the painful pathways we have already walked, particularly at the hands of JLP and Seaga, I believe more will believe. Take it away, hallelujah. Hallelujah to Almighty God, God of Daniel, God of Abraham, and God of Jacob. Father God, let me tell you something. Be our shield and buckler against the vicious and wickedness of this government. So help me God. Now, melting pot, I will waste no time. Then bring you in. And after you finish, then we show Jamaica the criminality between Dushi and Savadia and Andrew Holness, and he must be arrested. We want Dushi and Savadia to be arrested. Take over, melting pot.
But I'm glad that Shalman Scott come and set the record straight, you know. And why I'm using that term as it relates to Shalman Scott setting the record straight, simply the fact that he is always a Jamaica Labour Party, you know, supporter. He has never run on a People's National Party ticket. And as a man that served 13 consecutive years as a councillor in the West, the man that devoted a lot of time to the politics of the Jamaica Labour Party. And so, rather than me, Byron, Man of the Wilderness, Rattigan, and any other bloggers trying to portray this bit of information, it is very much in keeping with Shalman Scott being the one saying these things about the party that he represents for several years and being successful. Now, Andrew Holness tried to paint a picture, you know, that many are Jamaican right now don't know nothing about the 70s. You understand? And was running with it as if it's a wildfire, trying to use that period of time to trick and con and lie to the Jamaican electorate. You know, that the 70s was the worst time under the People's National Party. Rather than concentrating about his own party affiliation and the fact that his party between 1983 to 1989 hold all government seats, central government and local government seats. All of them. Because Michael Manley no contest nothing. Yeah, so Seaga have the play field for himself. And Seaga get an economy very well in health. Yeah, good health, the economy. 63% GDP as debt to our $1. So we have $37. Can look about home affair. But with that, we can pay off that easy. Now, when you look at what Seaga do with that economy, striving economy, an economy that Singapore president came to Jamaica and take the model back to Singapore. And where Singapore is today in relation to where Jamaica is a far gap wider than the Atlantic Ocean. Singapore have the 5th strongest economy in the world. Jamaica don't have no economy. But if the Jamaican model went to Singapore to use as a pilot project to stabilize and enhance Singapore economy, far shame and a far cry and a far disgrace as to what the Jamaica Labour Party has done to Jamaica. Now, Seaga, move the 63% GDP from 1980, and by 1989, the debt ballooned to 262% GDP. Mighty God, over a 9-year period, him crushed the economy to the extent America was not in favor of this guy. This guy let down America. I remember America back him, America back him, but him let them down. Him could not deliver on the promise that was made to Reagan. Reagan labeled him as, you know what. Yeah. So the credibility, yeah, it not exists. That's why Andrew Wallace cannot talk about no period where the Jamaica Labour Party run the country. You notice? Him don't talk about, because there's no credibility within their period. Him don't talk about the Bruce Bolling period. Him don't talk about the Edward Seaga period. And him certainly can't talk about this period. So we are always saying to our people that the combined period that the Jamaica Labour Party has spent running Jamaica, it far exceeds the time where the People's National Party run the country for. But yet still the People's National Party put in the most work. Work that has been there from Michael Manley time till now, still benefiting the country. So what we have to look at now, we have to look at a guy who lied to his people. And when you have a leader that lies to his people, that leader cannot be trusted and should not be trusted.
Hold on.
No one should put them trust and faith into Andrew Wallace's administration.
Pat, just give me a minute. A man saying blood a boil, he wants to say something. So me just go make since him blood a boil, me could hear him now. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Go ahead.
Big up my family, big up.
Andrew Wallace stay in Parliament and I blame Michael Manley to stand up on him 2 foot and a crawl on him belly in that period.
Are you serious?
The man literally blame the state of the country economically for the decision of Michael Manley. This man is a puppet. This man is a weak jelly bag. The man need to march on a Parliament right now and run him from out of the country.
That's no joke. Bolo.
Run him for him.
Mr. Moy, deal with him, man. I am melting pot. We're not going to hear it.
All right. Blessings, my brother. Blessings, my general.
You know, if me a talk about mystic, man, you can't talk about the period, you know. You notice how which period Michael Manley period, 1970, one of the best period that in Jamaica history. And that's the foundation of Jamaica was laid out by the great Sir Michael Joshua Manley. We still have them on the policy. I live off in Jamaica right now like the NHP. Yeah, great policy that. You understand?
Well, I'm melting pot. People blood a boy. People blood a boy. Now begging me to your
time. We have it all a while. We are the people, I say.
Yeah.
Big up yourself, sister.
This man, if me get 30, somebody will come and we got to think about parliament, you know.
That's why I tell you, that's why I say me now give no ear time. Because I will lie at that. Me now give no ear time.
I blame Michael Manley, the man gone back from 1940, this from 1840, that. Up till now, the man not talk about the future of the country where what plan he have to do. I can't hurt about him as the opposition leader. Want to this man, brother? I want to this dirty thinking, nasty man. When I go, brother, and then you can hear them, did they clap and not bench?
Lie them, man.
We are back in our 70s. Come back a class, yeah.
All right, blessings. Blessings, Sister P.
Look what Jamaica come to.
I tell you.
Hey.
All right, thank you. Yes, melting pot. Go ahead. Sorry.
Let's see after how Mark G deal with him Tuesday, he would have to come out like a loggerhead Thursday, you know. We wouldn't expect nothing different because remember Marky crushed him Tuesday, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. And point blank look on him and tell him, says, you I'm talking. You understand? So what I'm going for? Some old nostalgic lie. An old nostalgic lie them going for. Now I'll cut it, Andrew. Andrew right now, you know, the vice grip, you know. And Marky G, you know. And you can't release Marky G grip you on accountability and transparency. Marky G grip you because you don't have no vision for run the country. And when Marky G give the vision, them and tell us you can't go and go use it. You see how far you gone back in a policy in the 70s. Yeah? And that be a lie tell you so. Yeah? Because everybody knows say the adverse condition where Michael Manley run Jamaica in the 1970s. Remember, you know, CIA upon the man back, you know, using Nazi Edward Seaga, you know, as them puppet in a Jamaica, you know. Yeah? And using him to do what? Derail the economy. To victimize the people, them. And to bring a high austerity measure upon the people, them. Remember, you know, the man, them start bringing gun what we never know about. Them bring petroleum from abroad for burn down evening tide and them carry out that. Me don't know Jamaica people them vote, especially women vote for a party where burn down evening tide woman perished 153 elderly woman. Oh, Jamaica woman them a run behind this garbage thinking dirty Jamaica Labour Party. Me don't know. Because it is there in history. Even the CIA, they make mention of it in their documentary where they speak about the evening tide fire that was, you know, unleashed and that almost burned down in less than 10 minutes. And that substance, petroleum substance, was not obtainable in Jamaica. You have to get it from abroad. And remember, we know how them get it. And we know them use it. You have certain man right now down at West Kingston. We say I'm responsible for down there. So him did involve nasty thinking dirty dead man Mackenzie. AK Bushrat did involve in that. And me no know if Jamaican woman them no have no farmer, you know, intelligence if you know so well then. If a party can burn down a home with 153 women in it. Yeah. It's not a good party. But see them come bulldozer down somewhere home again. The bulldozer down people home again, you know. Mashing up people life in a Jamaica, you know. That is what this Jamaica Labour Party is gifted for. And then come out and tell lie. Because just like Andrew did in a parliament the day previous before him got tear down over Clifton. And them are show you so them do them surveillance and them have everything dotted and crossed as it relates to the I and the T. But the next day after, him go over there and say, you know, I apologize, they are not squatters. You see me I say, this is how this party operate. When them come out and do them wrong, yeah, and they are being held accountable by the public, them spin it round. No, Andrew Hollis don't know nothing about the period we're going to talk about. Andrew born 1972. Andrew was a little pissing tail boy when Michael Manley built the country. When Andrew come to have sense of what going around him, yeah, would I be 80? Give him this, my 80-year-old by 80. Yeah? So when Andrew come see and know it's the Jamaica Labour Party. Yeah? Well, him fully have understanding of the Labour Party. From 1983, Seaga called snap election, man, they did not enter into it. Just like how you say Andrew come call the snap one after the pandemic in a 2020. Yeah, them like to play them type of game because them see it as an opportunity to extend them time in power. Them do it with the local government election and obtain 8 years. 8 years of mashing up the local infrastructure. And we see it born out in the recent rain them and Melissa hurricane. Gully them not clean. Culvert them not clean. You have all dirt pile up underneath Riverton City Bridge. Riverton City Bridge, you know, people. You have a forest from Riverton City Bridge at 5 miles. All the way back to the mangrove that joined the causeway. That was the Amazon forest me I look on. And that as a result of Andrew Hollis not utilizing taxpayers' money to do the work that's supposed to be done to benefit the taxpayers of Jamaica and to enhance the development of Jamaica. Because Andrew them not build nothing. Seaga not build nothing. Bruce Golding not build nothing. So Jamaican people, what more do want to see and prove the lie at this administration? Just look, the man claim the fiscal discipline, you know. But when you look and see who Christine Lagarde talked to, at the People's National Party, there was not one Jamaica Labour Party representative there. It was the People's National Party and the private sector organization of Jamaica. Christine Lagarde and her counterparts from the IMF came to speak to who? The People's National Party, led by Portia Simpson and our cabinet members and the private sector organization. But yet still Andrew tell us him bringing that. When you look on that video there alone, it tell us Andrew a liar, you know. No labor right never did a song. Andrew never did a song. And the People's National Party, led by Portia Simpson and the private sector organization. But we hear Andrew in a parliament and talk about him have the DNA for fiscal discipline. That piece of shit. So, what Andrew do right now, no surprise, because Andrew have sleepless night right now. Andrew knows some political days are numbered. It's just a matter of time. You understand? And Andrew know that there's a dark cloud line over his head and size 14. Because the two of them must go to prison. And several top level cabinet members within the party must go to prison. And you have some people in a civil society who has found themselves wrapped up in this Andrew Wallace corruption, they must go to prison when the right time comes. So Andrew is just merely putting on a brave face. He's confused as to what to say because him run out of lyrics. Marky kick over him in a parliament, choose a gun. It's like a sound clash. And when Marky give him the plate in his face, him and him friend them run away and empty the parliament. So him can't come back come challenge Marky G for nothing right now. Andrew Wallace a playing a game of Cinderella. But nobody not play with him, you know. No, nobody not play that game with him. Nobody not look for Andrew again. Andrew political career dead. Dead, dead, dead. If Andrew didn't even stand a chance, Andrew kill him on with the Melissa program. Yeah, the 6.7 billion US dollar when get and the vast amount of supply, hurricane relief supply for the people and how him treat the people Andrew kill him on. Yeah, Jamaica people are fooling, you know. The 1 and 2 we are gonna run behind him and the belly lick them there. And some of them belly stop hurt them too, so now them are drift from him. Because people have to understand, you know. Andrew will not be around to be handing out things. Andrew will be in prison. So people get ready. Get ready, the PMP train is coming. Get on board. Because a building train, this, you know. It's not a handout train that comes. It's a train where we can work and distribute them right round the country and build back Jamaica. It's a train where we also clean up the corruption and take them go dump them with them to go dump. Because corruption cannot run a country. Corruption does not enhance a society. It takes away from a society. So that is what we have on board to offer the people of Jamaica. Under the People's National Party, you're going to get truth, transparency, and accountability. Yeah? You're going to get honesty. You understand? As it relates to people now behaving in line with the conduct of how you're supposed to behave as a parliamentarian. So you know, as a parliamentarian, you're not supposed to steal the taxpayers' money. You're supposed to work for the taxpayers, and that you tell them you're going to do. Yeah? Me know under the People's National Party, we are going to get back that. We are going to get back moral discipline in the society because the police them have to fall in a line, you know. Because we are going to abolish Andrew police force. Yeah, we are going to get rid of that. We are going to get rid of them look loose commissioner of police when on a head space. We are going to have a property security minister. One who can travel and interact and know what is going on in the wide world of security. We never have the washerman flying from various parts of the world. A coming out of the country, come perform underworld mafiaism. Which government do that, people? You can't tell me you as a government of your country are run. Yeah? But in order to steal the taxpayers' money, you send for a washer girl from India named Dushan Chivaria. Come at the country 2015 broke. Now have nothing.
Pat, remember, so we're going to touch that later, you know. So not delving on that. We're going to touch that later.
Well, we still can't go in it, but we have to frame the work coming down the line. Make the people know so we're hot and ready tonight. Because this guy, we have to get rid of him 2026, you know. And we want the people get on board and join the train. You understand? We can't keep this guy no longer, you know. Every day keep Andrew Wallace in power is a further day in the precipice Jamaica gone. We have to ease up this man and half of the country. The grip when feel him up on the country, we have to ease it off. We can't carry him no longer because Jamaican people can't take no more. And I yield back the floor.
All right. Now, yes, Melting Pot, thank you for that. Now, let me just deal with the situation. Now, Jamaica, and would I like investigators, particularly Mocha, right? and the so-called DPP, if the DPP interested in justice, the case that we are going to present now as it relates to Dushi and Savadia, right? Laundering money for Andrew Holness. This must stop. And it must be investigated. Why can't be investigated? Well, I'm going to show the Jamaican people what we have. And we look in terms of their system and see how their money is moving. This has to stop. And yet he's getting a lot of government contracts. Because it is Andrew Holness' business. So Andrew Holness is giving himself contracts with the face of Dushi and Savadia. Why not say something wrong with this? Now, Jamaica, I could dig down into this now. Right? Let me just put this away. Because the evidence that we are going to present, right? They need to put Dushi and Savadia under surveillance. He needs to be investigated. Now, let me get into the situation right now. We're not wasting no time. And him there in a parliament, you know. Him there in a parliament with him level of criminality, you know. Well, me bust him. Let me just bust him bubbles. Now, Jamaica, listen to this. Let me just move this away. Okay. All right. Listen to this. Look at this, Jamaica. Now, Jamaica, what I am showing you the face of Andrew Holness. And I want you to hear what I'm saying here today. This is the face of Andrew Holness. Every business that this man owns belongs to Andrew Holness.
My honor and privilege to personally welcome you to this Amber event, commemorating 6 years of hard work and dedication of hundreds of our team members across the globe. For those who are unfamiliar with our origins, let me pause and look back at those moments that brought us this far. The journey to start Amber Group stemmed from the humanitarian work I was doing as part of the Art of Living Foundation, one of the world's largest NGO, active in over 160 countries with over 800 million lives touched from all walks of life. As a program director of Art of Living, I came to Jamaica 9 years ago to teach stress management workshops. From corporate executives to farmers, from inner city communities to educational institutions, I taught Art of Living programs to over 100,000 people in Jamaica. I've personally taught rehabilitation programs to over 2,000 inmates at several of the prisons in Jamaica. I want to share a light moment of my prison experience. On one occasion, I was in the prison for the whole day pretty much, from very early in the morning till late afternoon. And my parents were trying to get hold of me as well. As per protocol, I left my phone with the security and only saw their missed calls after my sessions were over and I came out. When I called them back, my mom asked, "Where were you all day? We were trying to reach you." And I said, "Sorry, Mom, I was in the prison." And before I could say even a word, she immediately panicked and yelled, "What have you done now?" And I had to follow through my sentence and say, I was teaching the Art of Living courses in the prison, and then she relaxed. Charity cannot happen from an empty bowl. As important as this work is, I could not find a sustainable way to continuously fund all the projects I wanted to. I still remember on 2nd of January 2015, I was broke with no food in my fridge and no money in the bank. I decided then, instead of depending on sponsorships and donations, I would rather build businesses and use the profits to do good. And so the Amber Group was born. The last 6 years have been tough.
Jamaica, what I want to pay attention to, you know, in this thing, it doesn't tell you where he gets the money from to start Amber Group, I want you to listen keenly, right? Him just tell you how Amber Group, right, established, right? Him not tell you how, where he got the money, where he got the source of income from to start Amber Group. Listen to that keenly, people. Okay.
I encountered the common problems of any startup. Many who saw the concept of the business blatantly told me on my face that it would fail. There were less believers and more demotivators. I did not have the privilege of many acquaintances in Jamaica to seek help from, and chasing to find a little more funding to stay afloat for one more month and complete our first product of the Amber Group, which was Amber Connect, was very challenging. It has been a long road of many mistakes, many lessons, and many realizations. But most of all, this journey for me has been all about my personal growth as a human being. Today, I stand proud to say that we have stood true to our purpose. With what was just an idea has turned into a global company with 10 business lines operating in 30 countries, and at the heart of everything we do is bringing our consumers peace of mind, our society's growth, and our nation's prosperity.
All right. Let us stop that. Right? And take that away. Now, Jamaica, we are going to deal with some serious issues as it relates to Andrew Holness and Dushian Savadia. I am going to show you how Dushian Savadia said he come by his startup money. You're going to see how Dushian Savadia came by his startup money. Right? Without any hesitation, let us get into that. Let us get into this. Now, Jamaica, here it is. The Art of Living in St. Martin. I taught there before coming to Jamaica. He was a very wealthy chap. This is a friend that him claims he met in St. Martin. Right? He was a very wealthy chap. A young guy. I knew he would understand tech. Listen, Jamaica. I turned to him because, of course, in Jamaica, if you go to anybody with just an idea and a piece of paper, nobody's gonna invest in you. You see the reverse psychology I'm putting in there? This piece of line that he puts in there is to say that he did not get help in Jamaica. So that is the reverse psychology. You understand that him squeezing at this, him squeezing at that. You understand? Misleading investigators to say, don't look into Jamaica. I did not get the money in Jamaica. So I reached out to him. He saw it. He knew this was a brilliant idea. Right? Okay. He has a brilliant idea. Right? Someone who he had taught, one of his students. At the same time, he also said he knew I was starting this business because I wanted to do good with it. So he said he will support me. Now, what on Jamaica? Right? You have a student that you taught in St. Martin. And you start a business, and the friend knew that he started a business. This is a rich guy. And you went to him and you explained the business, and he said, okay, all right. I knew that, you're starting up a business and you are going to do good, right? I am going to help you. Can you imagine, Jamaica? Can you imagine? At the same time, he also said he knew I was starting this business because I wanted to do good with it. So he said he will support me. That support came in from in form of $450,000 US. See, here is Dushian Savadia, right? One of his students that he had taught in St. Martin, right? Reasoning with him about a business venture. And it was so amazing, so wonderful, whoops, that his student friend loaned him $450,000 US. Now, Dushian Savadia, you can't take back this, you know.
Cannot.
Melting Pot, what we say?
Him can't take back that.
You
That's
cannot take back this. You cannot take back this. And look, any police officer, investigator at Mocha, follow me on this morning. DPP, if you're interested, look at this one and show you. That support came in the form of $450,000, which was to be used to build the entire software and hardware for Amber Connect. Savadia said he himself wanted to learn how to build the app. So he went to China. Now remember now, you went to a friend. You don't even know how to build the app. You see how this is twisted? And you tell a friend about an idea, which this is an app that you can't create. You have to go to China to get the app created, right? So he went to China where he lived for months, learning to build it himself to ensure the $450,000 would last. He cut costs where he could, including stay in a dorm with 30 men.
Love, man.
Unusual to you. You could have stayed with 60 in your line of business, that too.
Yeah.
Who shared only 2 bathrooms.
You there?
While he built the device, well, all of one bathroom could have shared. You understand? Because remember, you know, when you were about 13 or 14, you got raped by your uncle, as I call him to you. And which the Amber Connect app would be installed. Okay, all right, Jamaica. We don't with him, you know. Problem at today, you know. Problem at this morning. Okay. Now, Jamaica. We see now where this man came to Jamaica. Remember, have no strong tie to the government. Right? But 2015, decide to, you know, do Amber Group. And then between 2015 to 2019, Andrew Holness made him an ambassador. Andrew Holness made him an ambassador. Now look at this. When I get to the law, you have to look on this to me and show it to you. Know. Look at this. And so then, all of a sudden, Dushian Savadia start to get pure contract from the Jamaica Labour Party government. Pure contract. Now, here is one of the last things that he had possessed. Look at this. Amber buys 50% stake in On-Time Taxi. Remember that he also bought NNN, you know. So he is the main shareholder in NNN, Andrew Business. Amber buys 50% stake in an On-Time Taxi. Amber Group has bought a 50% stake in On-Time Taxi, and the move will see it disrupting and redefining Jamaica public passenger vehicle industry. The cost of the stake was not disclosed, but a release from Amber Group said the taxi service will be rebranded as Amber On Time. This strategic partnership aims to transform the market by integrating advanced apps with innovative AI features, enhancing user experience and safety standard, right? The release, they take it away, Andrew Honest, moving, you understand, as it relates to that sort of laundering. Why, Byron? Why are you calling it laundering and you don't prove a thing as yet? Hold on, no, don't rush me, man. Right? You're getting there. You're calling it laundering and you don't prove a thing as yet. Okay. All right, Jamaica, come with me. Come with me fast. Wanna come with me? Now, let us show another business of Amber. Oh, here it is. TechCrunch want to remind people that he got the contract, right, from Andrew Honest, right, to create this. Amber Group has fixed a second security lapse that exposed private keys and password for the government of Jamaica COVID app and website. A security researcher told TechCrunch on Sunday that the Amber Group left a file on the Jam COVID website by mistake, which contained passwords that would have granted access to the backend systems, storage and databases running the Jam COVID site, right, and app. The researcher asks not to be named for fear of legal repercussions from the Jamaican government. Let us take that away. Coming to you, Jamaica. Coming to you, Jamaica. Worries are this morning. Coming to you, Jamaica. Now, let me show you this, Jamaica. Where am I going? Amber Holding Network. Look at this, Jamaica. Amber Holding Network 2016 to 2025. I want to look on this. I want to get the police. I want to get the investigators to look on this. And you are going to tell me that, okay, nobody in Jamaica not going to investigate this. All right, look at this. This is the interactive chart of historical net worth market cap for Amber Holding over the last 10 years. How much a company's worth is typically represented by its market capitalization or the current stock price multiplied by the number of shares outstanding. Amber Holding Network as of March 18, 2026 today, $0 billion. $0 billion. Jamaica. Since Melting Pot and I spoke on it the last time, we are going to now look on the graph and show you what happened. So they move out all the money. Now, look at this now, Jamaica. Let us get to the graph. Here's the graph. Now, Jamaica. This man started in 2015. How much money did he get, Melting Pot, to start up the business?
450,000 US.
So he got 450,000 US. Let me go through the graph and I'm going to see it. By 2018, right? $380 million in it. By 2020.
Aaron, take off the caption off of the screen from the chat group.
Huh?
Remove the caption from the chat group off of the screen so they can see the graphic.
Oh, they are not seeing it?
No.
Oh, okay, thank you. Let me get back in. Let me get back in into it. And okay, hold on. Okay, let me stop share this. Okay, let me just get back into it. Right, let me just get back into it. Sorry about that. It come up now, Melting Pot?
No, it no come off. You have to take off the text message from the chat group, but up on the screen. If you move that, them can't see everything.
Okay, hold on there. Just give me a minute, people. Let me just get the savvy person because I can't. Hold on, people. Just bear me some time here. Let me just go back to this and take off. Okay, all right, me understand. So that come off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let me stop from share it and go back in it again, melting pot.
All right, you're
All
good
right,
now.
I fix it. Sorry about that, my people. My bad. All right, let us get into it now. All right, we have it. So they must see no melting pot.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Good now.
All right, so look, people. 2015, right? You got the money to borrow. And by 2018 here, 400 million. 2018, right? 400 million, right? 410. And it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. 2020, look at the chart, $670 million. All right, 2021, 1 billion, right? 530 million. Look at this, people. At 2022, it were 10 billion 550 million. 10 billion in. Now look at this. 2021, 4.87 billion. So you know, between 2020 and 2021, billions of dollars running through Amber Group. Right? Billions of dollars. Now, 2022, right, gone again, 620 billion. 2024, 240 million. 2025, 800 million. And 2026, 250 million, right? And where it is being now zero. Now, let us start Jamaica. Let us start. How did Dushi and Savada company, after getting 450,000 US dollars, that $450,000, let me talk to Dushi and Savada himself. More on Dushi and Savada to listen to me. Dushi and Savada, you have to show your startup capital and your balance sheet. Let me talk to you. Because you can't change it. You have to show your startup capital and your balance sheet. One investigator to investigate that. Right? As it relates to the 450,000 US. Now, the thing about that, the 450,000 US has to be wired to you. Or if it doesn't wire, right? You're going to have the cash. Either, we can put all of the evils that we want to, all of the obstacles. If that money wired to you, you have to have the evidence of that wiring. We are asking investigators. You understand? To have a talk with Dushi and Savadia. Investigators need to see that 450,000 startup money as it relates to it, whether it wired from St. Martin or the guy went to China and him go over China and blah, blah, blah. Dushi and Savadia has to explain that. Now, Dushi and Savadia has to also explain billions of dollars moving in and out. Now, I mean, you coming to Jamaica, and in 2015 you get this. And if that money go into the bank any at all, the bank's supposed to investigate as it relates to the source. That's what I think, Pat.
Definitely.
You
100%.
tell us 450,000 US, 450,000. You have to explain to investigators. Okay, if the money go into a bank, which bank? How do you come by it? How was the process done? And based on what we are seeing, that you now acquainted with Andrew Holness, and Andrew Holness mixed up in a corruption. Andrew Holness have $470 million running through NCB during the same time period. Billions of dollars going into your entity. Andrew Holness also put 700,000 US dollars in a city bank during the very same period of time in 2020 and 2021. And when we look on your thing, it is the very same period of time that your company having those monies going into your company. Jamaica, I wonder if you get what I'm saying. Between the period 2020 to 2021, Amber Group have billions of dollars going through Amber Group. Come back to the Integrity Commission investigator. Between 2020 to 2022, Andrew Holness told the Integrity Commission lie. That is income, assets, and liability only worth $170 million. Jamaica, listen to what I'm saying. Andrew Holness told the Integrity Commission as it relates to his statutory declaration for 2021. That is total income, assets, and liabilities was only $170 million. Now, based on the Integrity Commission investigation, looking at Andrew Holness' situation as it relates to NCB, 3 of Andrew Holness' shell companies washing $470 million through NCB in the same 2020 to 2021 period. Amber Group having billions of dollars in an Amber Group. What sort of business that Amber Group involved in as it relates to the profitability of that company? What sort of business? What sort of business? And then the big question, why Amber Group was so successful in the COVID period? Why Andrew Holness so successful in the COVID period? Brought forward to now. Now we don't have COVID. We don't have the challenges. They are not successful now. This is the time that they should be successful. But they are not having the success now. But in the COVID period, in the height of the pandemic, Andrew Holness businesses and Dushyant Savadia businesses, they were successful. Between 2020 to 2021, billions going into Dushyant Savadia company, Amber Group, and where the Integrity Commission looking and investigating as it relates to NCB Bank, Imperium, Estate Bridge, and another one running $470 million. Talk to me, Jamaica. So, Mocha, are you not going to look into this? The DPP. Well, is this something for you to look into in terms of what I'm saying here? The association between Andrew Holness and Dushian Savadia. Andrew Holness make him ambassador. Why is that? From out of nowhere. A guy who suffered from India, couldn't make it in India, did not make it in India. Traveled to other Caribbean islands before come to Jamaica. He did not make it.
No, he was in the UK as well before him come to the Caribbean and he couldn't make it.
Traveled to UK. He did not make it in UK. And the only place that he made billions of dollars, Jamaica. And when did he make it? In the height of the COVID. And when did Andrew Holness make it? In the height of the COVID. Now you tell me, are there no similarities there? Nothing need to be explained. Everything is okay. Investigators, you need to at least have Dushian Savadia interrogated. He must be interrogated. He must be interrogated. We look and see the similarities between him and Andrew Holness. And where the government, Christopher Tufton, had given him contract as it relates to the COVID-19. Andrew Holness have given him the contract as it relates to ADPEM, security features. He's getting the contracts everywhere. Jamaica, look up, wake up. And this man in a parliament, the ring off him mount in a parliament, he needs to be investigated. And so what we present here, you tell me that between 2015 and 2020 to 2021, 5 years, it took Dushian Savadia 5 years for his company to achieve over $10.8 billion. No business in Jamaica has ever done that. No business in Jamaica has ever done that. Now let me just rest and bring back Melting Pot. And Melting Pot, speak to us as it relates to what we presented.
Well, what we present, yeah, as it relates to Dushian Savadia in Jamaica operating as a billionaire, yeah, is criminal to the fact that 2015, Dushian Savadia was a broke individual. So, you know, just going on that basis alone, it tells you that there is serious implication regarding Dushian Savadia and the Prime Minister. Because let us look on the, the genesis of this guy. 2015 him broke. No money in him wallet, no petrol in him car, no food in him house, and him rent during the next coming week. And him hand upon him head. Remember, him don't know nobody in Jamaica now, you know. Him don't know any soul in Jamaica to rescue him out of this poverty line where I come him with. You understand? All those are tumble upon him. Him almost figure street go live and can't pay rent. That him I tell you, it was so bad. But nobody in Jamaica don't know him to help him. So him mind reflect back on a student in a St. Martin. But a student is just a student. He might be very receptive and, such likes, but you wouldn't know deep in the student background as it relates to him monetary side of things. If you know, say him can come up with 450 million US, $450,000 USD. Nearly $500,000 United States dollar. You know that. Let me just ask you then. What would I give you the inclination, say, if you call him directly? But you sell him a business where you don't know about either. So how you sell that business to this client of yours in St. Martin? But nevertheless, that's what him say. So we know, say, we have to put on the spotlight to track the money from St. Martin. So Dushan Chibadi, I tell you, if we cannot track this wire transfer or that client from St. Martin coming into Jamaica with that briefcase of money, and we have no recollection of any ties between you and a client in St. Martin, your blood will be bitter. Your blood going to be bitter. Because you come to Jamaica and I learn the scamming style and you teach you it. Because you listen back this guy original interview when he get to Archibald Garden. It not tell you nothing about nobody from St. Martin. Him tell you say him get the money. As a matter of fact, 454,000 US him say him get in a Jamaica. But when them sister we go on pan the thing and find the thing, them start ship it up.
Yes.
And splice up the interview them. So Dushyant and Andrew, may I tell you, so we have the genesis. We sit down on the genesis of this guy interview. Yeah? And him been flip-flopping here, there, and everywhere. But him can't get nowhere with this. Because remember, you know just how the Titans deal with this. We just label him as Andrew Washer Gal. We don't beat round the bush, and edge, We just come full straight ahead. This guy is Andrew Washer Gal. And everything where you see him face upon, it belongs to Andrew Holness. And my Jamaican people just notice how often the Holness them have gone India in recent time. And when we talk about the Holness, we talk about the husband and wife. Them down there regularly. And you see all pum vase and wood vase, they are the Taj Mahal. Like them a renew for I'm going to eat a bit of ice cream or what, I don't know. But the Labour Party member them there in India regularly, there is something fundamentally attached to Jamaica and India as it relates to the Prime Minister and some scammer them have down in India. Well, them have this big nasty washer girl, Dishan Chubadia, yeah? Where from him at 14, him say he was sexually assaulted by his uncle. Him used to drink 1 liter of rum and smoke 60 cigarettes a day. This boy, this piece of shit, now have no life in India, man. Nobody in India. Like many Indians who no see, wash up on people sure, and a portrait like them as somebody. In India, them are nobody. India one big old piece of dirty land. Yeah? With the Gandhi River run with beer shit in it and all type of thing. Dump from company. Waste dumping of that. And that's how we say full people are go all bath. Because I carry a certain sacramental thing what them say. And good luck and prosperity. You understand? So the holiness them too, them are criminal, you know. Them want protection from the Gandhi. So them down there, cause them a ring out the money out of Jamaica down at them place there, you know. Yeah, them a ring out the money. And we not go around the corner to talk the truth. Holiness rings the money down in India. And down in India, the safe haven for holiness money. Yeah, and we are saying the investigator, they must pick up on this lead where we are give them. If we're not real investigators, we don't say who is, and we're not real DPP, and we're not real commissioner of police, here is a simple case for unravel. Just look who put them arm around this piece of shit here in Jamaica. Look who you see him with in all of the photo of them. Him and Andrew. But this guy has nobody, you know. Nobody in a 2015 January, man. Nobody in a Jamaica. Someone asks now, how did the Prime Minister know him get 450,000 US dollar and become a wealthy man? That's him get close to him. Oh, Andrew know about him. Because he never know about Andrew, you know. To ask, you know, help or assistant, you know. Then, oh, Andrew know about him all of a sudden. That's the $1 million question, you know. And oh, Andrew, what did he do to deserve to be ambassador in a whatever capacity? When them say ambassador in a technology, Andrew, move from us and go, you know. You're like a style of scamming, it can't pass, man, like me and Mystic, you know. A man of the wilderness, you know. You're like an idiot scamming can't pass, we detect that easily. Because we never know what to find out about this guy. And bring him to attention and have him under the spotlight for more than a year now. Or going a year. We have him under the spotlight, you know. Because from a mash up Robin Gavin thing with you, you know. You have a draw for this piece of shit, yeah. Yeah. Robert Gavin used to be the man where used to pull off them string out with Dushyant deal with. Yeah, so you feel like bringing in a guy from India to go blindfold with. No, we're not blindfold. We don't wear blinkers. We can't see good. Yeah? And remember, when we go and do an investigation, we have come up with solid facts. This guy, trying to be clever, built a group which already exists. Not only in one country, but two countries, Japan and Singapore. I hear this guy say, him have 10 companies connected to 30 countries. Then, oh, your graphic look like that. From a high of 10.55 billion in a 2021 to currently 200 million. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
What caused the decline?
Exactly.
But yet still...
Money a move out.
Yes. But yet still matter about them investment is striving. That not look like a striving investment. That look like a collapse investment from a high of 10.55 billion in a 2021. When nothing go on in the world, your Andrew skyrocket same time. When you take off and gone. Him and Andrew take off and gone at the moon in a 2021 with wealth. Them skyrocket.
Skyrocket.
Not even Challenger lift off like them. 2021 when everybody in a limbo. Right around the world. First world country can barely see a 0.5% growth in the economy. But Andrew business and Dushyant Shabadia business skyrocket like Challenger. Ghana moon. Unbelievable. Andrew, you feel you're smart, you know. You're not smart. You're one of the biggest lunatic ever to set foot in a Jamaica. Yeah? Your thing can be easily track and trace. And that me a mystic round here do. Me a mystic track and trace this. And so remember we have every letter to the T as it regard, as it relates to this guy. Friend back he interview all over in the Caribbean. And one place can give him where he want is Jamaica. Because everywhere else run under law and order. The only place where he can come gain wealth is not the corrupted heaven called Jamaica. A place led by a crime minister called Andrew Holness. He can't make it in the UK. He can't make it in India where they make economy bigger. Film thing where my deal look what 1.5 billion people in India, you know. How much a film thing him could have sell this up. But a Jamaica him come assembling thing with a population under 3 million and make so much money. Mighty God. Andrew. The walls of Jericho are falling around you. A time you realize. This guy, this piece of shit, this washer girl, yeah, we like to be in a place where whole heap of man there. Yeah, him say him go to China and him go study and from downsize cars. Him end up in a place with 30 man with 2 bathrooms. Well, that not, you know, I'm not used to it. That I'm not used to it. Because if you itch up on a big mama, yeah, then that I remember, you know, your marriage breakdown. Your proper marriage with your wife, which was a female, it break down in a UK. Because she see which way you'd go. She saw the way you were trending and decided to end it. So we know you like the man affair. But I no problem to either. You understand? But when we are saying you come in our country and you been causing mayhem, you here than a bet Andrew Holness with all the wrongdoing them, both in the money laundering and you interfere in the general election. And we have to have you investigated and charged with those 2 high-level corruption that you participate in. And that little guy come from India, 2015. Just a decade ago, you are playing too much of a prominent role in our society. You have the contract of art. You have the GPS app contract. You have the COVID where you breach the people data privacy. Yeah. And that was done deliberately. That was done deliberately. Okay? Let me say and sound it out to the Jamaican people. Because everybody know where you can make from, you know, giving data to people. People data is worth a fortune. So when him leave that day, that was film slice of the cake where Andrew gave him, because Andrew ever give the Confederate them a slice of the cake.
Exactly.
So Jamaican people privacy, where him left there, where them share out and who if you have it, he make a piece of food off of it. Him forgot prison for that. You notice him not left not more open pan the jam portal, but the most sensitive security detail. Him leave that. Say him forgot. What a coincidence. Eh? But when we look now, this guy now, coming on media, scan to them and buy NNN. Then him buy sharing the online taxi we have on name Amber on Time. But it undisclosed. Undisclosed, you know. From this are nothing from rags. This are from shit to riches. Nothing rag. Are from shit to riches. You understand? And Jamaican people, just look now man. Look how Andrew undermine so much brilliant Jamaica. He never turn one on in an ambassador. You know? Him find this garbage, this alpha man, him find and turn in an ambassador. Whether I tell you, the Lego Andrew shit up out here where him have, you know. Andrew no mean no good. Andrew use no, abuse no, and refuse no. If you a big stinking washer girl from India, roll out red carpet, put on big fanfare ceremony, and crown the big piece of shit ambassador. And one of them that run on, Andrew, shower labor right. Una son an idiot. Look out at 10-year man there, Jamaican man a billionaire. And from the band down there, one of them have a straw in a year. From the band and a slave in Jamaica, one of them have a straw in a year. And the man come there 2015 and turn million year. How that look? And some in a Jamaican, we are talking now, you know. How that look? That not showing us Andrew in a uno. Andrew in a you know. Me say Andrew use you know, abuse you know, and refuse you know, and take up a big nasty load of shit from India. Cause you can't wash you know. You know pala. Andrew want a washer technician to deal with the money laundering. And I guess so Andrew think that. Cause remember Andrew keep you know done you know. So you not have the scope of technology or educational side of things, you know. So you can't participate on Andrew. Andrew keep on a dance. I'm gonna run around him like a chick man chick. Yeah. Every day as Andrew dangle a carrot and run out for the one carrot. Embarrass yourself, get all police button. As in the case of the KFC. And to laugh in stock of carry come on the rest of the world. This is where this garbage guy Andrew and leech pan Jamaica society. Don't size the moral and the pride and the principle and the respect what Jamaica have. Yeah, under this guy I gone. And on the slung there, go on like say well him the Messiah. Him the prodigal son. Him a shit. Andrew a shit house. Andrew a criminal. And any boy we are run them platform and I want you say Andrew a criminal. Them a Andrew mix up. Them a criminal too. Them a get butter. A rub on them pocket and them hand and them mouth. When since nobody don't know say Andrew a criminal with them on platform. And when that gone through the window. In statutory declaration declare can be certified. You know, see how long the man delinquent in that space there. And credit to the Integrity Commission where I say from that 2021 and from 1998. 1998 this guy has not been certified. He's the longest uncertified individual anywhere in the world. So no one know when I come say, open no mouth and talk now. Because you think say social media is a place where you come ramp and play with the politics in our country. If you're not credible, not run no platform about you, because melting pot will burn down that alone. Who don't know why melting pot go open up a platform and take set pound? Because I'm in a ramping up. Me controversial. But with truth and right, me is in favor of that. Don't be no flip-flopper because I get butter. Leave and lift up out of space. And go back in on the whole time. You know, business affair. All the son do much here in the media. Come correct. Don't take the politics for no gully water business. Gutter water thing I want to know. Here is a criminal working alongside Andrew Holness. Come to Jamaica and take 10 years and turn billion a year. God the man said the business of him. But we know the business and of him. We see who have them around him. We see who have them arm around him shoulder. We see the entity where him go, the person. Andrew Holness affiliated to them. Tell me say Andrew Holness not affiliated to NNN now. You don't see that in NNN.
Exactly.
Oh, it's such a coincidence that this guy, I use one of Andrew old-time tactics, taxi. Eh? Taxi? But taxi man there, Jamaica can't cut it. Sorry, them all even put the money in a taxi business. Because police don't stop molest them. So it look like them on time amber taxi and now. Police I know them and just know so well. When you see them come, just turn your eye, you know. Or when you see them tire bus, you know, just slow them, you know. Or when them have one light, you know, low them, nobody look on them. Because most of them all make money. Them cannot operate the way taxi service supposed to operate in Jamaica and becomes wealthy in taxi, so you'd never want to, you know, go into that business. Because where are the road? Where are something we want to do? Byron know what we want to do, and several of the blood and fire come with them. The people them now are chat know what we want to do because we have some well savvy minded individual in our chat group. Yeah. So who no sister this guy is a criminal like country. Yeah. You see, him can't make it to India. Him can't make it to UK. Him can't make it to the rest of Caribbean island them. One place him find a safe haven for turn a billionaire, Jamaica. Mighty God. But yet still our brilliant youth them in a Jamaica can't get a head start. But a Indian descent come to our place and get head start. I want to tell you, my Jamaican people, too much of them nasty Indian in Jamaica right now. Too much of them in a Jamaica right now. Too much Chinese in a Jamaica right now. A time for the run of the nasty shitty crime minister. Vote have no confidence, Jamaican people. Demonstrate against him. Farmer blockade of parliament. A time for the shit go. The shit you play too much, you know, mafia game in our country, man. Like, who this piece of garbage you think him is? You rise up out of the bowl of the ghetto, but you don't have nothing in common for the ghetto. Ghetto are hard-working people who exhibit a lot of pride, passion, compassion, sympathy, and empathy. You don't have nothing like that. All you have is a dictator brain, a criminal mind, and a con man ambition. Because that's your ambition from your entry into parliament, you know. From you coming to politics, you come in as a con man. Because Seaga was a con man. Bruce was a con man. They're all con man. This is why I keep telling my Jamaican people, Jamaica cannot rise under the stewardess of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because it's a criminal party with criminal mind. You understand? From the leader up at the top to the bottom. Yeah. I who them care, you see, going to Senate. Say them a senator like big old dirty thinking warthog. Yeah. We come and chat. Be a garbage, be a propaganda. Lie for the Jamaica Labour Party. You know, see him reward. Senator Keisha Mack. For your reward. Man to go be a metropolitan. But sitting down there so. Who carry down there? Pumbas, to do what? Thief the money. And share the money between them. Well, look, you see Chopper John the same way. Eh? You know, see where I'm going, Jamaican people. It's a criminal organization, the Jamaica Labour Party. Criminal organization, I will say it again. They are a criminal organization. And the crime minister must be held accountable. Must. Well, look at the Speaker of the House. From nowhere to somewhere. Wealthy. Extremely wealthy. One project costs 800 million. And she have two more running simultaneously. Three of them all together. Plus other business spread right across the length and breadth of Jamaica. Where size 14 get them their money from?
That is it. Where
did size 14 get all this money from?
800 million at least flat on other places. Crazy, man. This is crazy.
This what me after. Yeah. And the arrogance get the better of them, you know. The arrogance that you open our big thinking mouth. Yeah. And about our investment in jeopardy. Yeah. When she are trying to thief all the human land. Try to thief all piece of the human land, you know. She tamper with all the planning permission, you know. Them a criminal. Up to the planning permission of a lead flat. Size 14, tamper with it. Building more apartment than she should. Mighty God. Because the oldest fields of them lack Jamaica, you know, man. Yeah. Remember have the guy a Morgan out of UDC, you know. Yeah. We are give them the land, them identify the land, I get the whole of them, you know. Jamaica people, you know, realize where we are going. Eh? We can spell it out clearer to you know. You have to listen where I go on a mystic sensation. Yeah, when the man melting pot team up, listen where I go on. This we are going over reggae dub scene when the Titans them over there. Listen, we are going up a brother Rattigan, see him we reason with him. Yeah. Listen, we are going from Anita Bell Rose and all. Attack the press, talk your mind, bowl up. We not just there so we come gas them out. We there so because we want to see Jamaica rise again out of the hand of Pharaoh. Remember, we can't just sit down, as elder statesman, who put in more work than what Andrew put in and watch Andrew alone reap the spoil, Andrew no work. Size 14 no work. The holiness 2 son them not working, but them are the wealthiest family in Jamaica. And them no one D&G, them no one Rhea nephew, them no one Grace and Separate. Oh, them get so wealthy out of politics. One of the most disrespectful thing what the guy do, after Michael Manley fight tooth and nail to get a levy from the bauxite mineral we have to use and develop a country in no uncertain manner, but in a specific way as it relates to education and housing. Yeah? What the guy do? The guy give it that, give a Nigel Clark, give it the levy and control the trucking arrangement with the backside. Andrew a criminal! I wanna like you when Melting Pot said that. Our next guest coming. I will never stop saying Andrew a criminal. Andrew give away the backside levy. Yeah, just for the rewardment of having the contract for him on size 14. And they'll command them with them truck who used to go there and work and put food on the table and send for them youth to school. Them man they know if you're watching them. And I ask and inquire if them can get a load. If them can get a be a hole in this truck and move it. This guy are wicked. So we appoint it out and I tell all the professional arms who deal with the lawful side of things in Jamaica. Here is one such criminal, Dushian Shabadia. He's a money launderer technician for Andrew, the crime minister, holiness. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Blessings, my people. Blessings. Blessing Melting Pot. Love that. Now, Jamaica, we want to show some things as it relates to a situation that has been developing. And remember, comrade leader concerned about it as it relates to what is going on into Iran, right? And of course, that is going to have a ripple effect, right? And, trust me, Jamaica, as it relates to price increase in oil and so forth, right? Yes, definitely we are going to have some ripple effect. And that is why, of course, Marky G is saying to Andrew Jonas that he needs to be proactive. The time is in Parliament right now, blaming Michael Manley. What happened to the strategy? What comrade leader asked him to bring forth to the Jamaican people? What happened to the strategies going forward in dealing with the situation unfolding in Iran? What happened to that? People want to hear about strategies. People don't want to hear your lies. But anyway, you don't have no strategy, so you have to just solely depend on that. You understand? But to show you how the comrade leader not only critique you, the comrade leader laid out a plan and also invite you to use them too. Because the comrade leader, right, care for the Jamaican people. So guess what? He's giving you, you understand, the opportunity to use, you understand, the suggestions, whatever you want to use to move Jamaican forward. But remember, Andrew, honest, you're not involved in that, You don't want in that. You want Seaga the same thing. You understand? No one to damage Jamaican people, right, and lock them down like sardine. No one to run Jamaica like on our run Tivoli Garden. But we Jamaican, we not gonna make it work. Now go happen, we can tell you that. Now when you have a friend, Dushan Savadia. Because as Melting Pot said, you understand me, a Melting Pot done and exposed Gavin. So you can't use Gavin again, you understand, for wash your money. You have given Gavin several contracts, right, when you were the minister in education, right? Now,
34 to
contracts. 34 contracts. But remember, the Integrity Commission, right, investigate you for that, so that you're exposed there. Now you're utilizing now Dushan Savadi, and also not only Dushan Savadi you're using. You also they use a criminal pastor, Rydell Green, Rydell Rowe.
Yes.
You understand? Which one Rydell Rowe get money from? And have this little how should I put it now? This little camouflage white guy. This little camouflage white guy, as if, you understand, he's going to give Rydell Rowe, you understand, billions of dollars, you understand, to open bank. Andrew Wallace, you try to spring on the money and they try to string on the money,
Yeah.
and they try to hide the money from investigators. That is what you're doing, Andrew Wallace. So every time Rydell Rowe, and we know Rydell Rowe, right? Remember, you know, there's a warrant out. Look here. There's a warrant out for your arrest. You know, why don't you arrest Rydell Rowe?
1 warrant, 2 warrant, 2 warrant. Not only 1, 2.
Why Rydell Rowe? Right? The police is not pursuing him. He found guilty, you know. He found guilty. Right? Appeal the case, got bail, and did not show up in court. Why Rydell Reed cannot be arrested under warrant?
Rydell Rowe.
Rydell Rowe. Why Rydell Rowe cannot be arrested? A peer criminality in Jamaica. Peer criminality. So then, hold on. Let me ask a question. I want to ask this question. So you are going to tell me that the DPP don't know nothing about this. Paula Llewellyn don't know nothing. Paula Llewellyn did not know anything about it when Paula Llewellyn was a DPP. Paula Llewellyn protege don't know nothing about it either. Now the DPP don't know nothing about it either. Don't know nothing about Rydell Rowe, even when we show it. And I show the people in Jamaica said this man is a criminal. Why is he not being arrested? Now let us dig into this as it relates to the local geopolitics here, right? And we have seen how Farrakhan, right, making some comment, and we see. But let me say something. Not that I'm looking out generally on the United States. As it relates to my conversation, I am talking about Donald Trump regime. Donald Trump regime. All of what Donald Trump is doing is camouflaging this because of what, you understand, the issues with the Epstein file, child molestation, right, and all other things. But let me say this, Jamaica. Let me say this categorically clear. Donald Trump is on a serious mission. Because put it this way, if upon when he finished with Iran, he automatically recently said that it is Cuba next. Let us ask the question. What Cuba has done him? What the Cuban has done him? What the Cuban has done him? And so then, not only that, he has Cuba in line, but he's also talking about Canada. Want Canada to becomes the 53rd state of the United States. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So we see the trajectory of what he's on. Because he's utilizing the Monroe Doctrine. So then, if you believe, say, okay, you can just go in, because you have done it with Venezuela, right? So it is the erosion of sovereignty. Jamaican people, don't be stupid. It is the erosion of sovereignty. You're going to Venezuela and you take him out. What happened to international laws? What happened to the Geneva Convention? So then if the international law cannot stop you, Geneva Convention cannot stop you, then as it relates to every single prime minister in the Caribbean basin, they have to have this concern. What is going to happen to their sovereignty? Since the United States can come in and just move you out, tell lie and move you out. And that is what we allowed. And that is what we are going to tolerate. Listen to this, Jamaica. Now that you see, they're also sending ships as it relates to Burkina Faso. Because Ibrahim Traore is fighting for his people. That for sure, you know. I am showing you something, you know. It is for you to think to yourself, all black people, think about this, what is happening. Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
America's about to go to war. And when she goes to war, she wants black and brown bodies. Now you're useful. They don't give a doggone about how black lives matter until they want to use black lives to accomplish their wicked ends. They're trying to provoke Iran. I would like to say to the president, Mr. President, it would not be a wise move for you because you're already $23 trillion in debt and you don't have any money to prosecute a war. So if you don't have the money to prosecute a war, the Federal Reserve is printing money every day. So you will have to come to the Federal Reserve to borrow money that you don't have to prosecute a war in a time when any little thing could cause the dollar to fall and the stocks to fall.
All right, so that is for a concern. Let me stop this. But I also want you to take in this, my Jamaican people. Look at this here. Look at this here. This is serious, right? This is very serious. Now, look at this.
February 23rd, 2026. Two American supercarriers, the United States ship Abraham Lincoln and the United States ship Gerald R. Ford, sitting in the water like the world's most expensive threat. 150 Lockheed Martin F-35s and Lockheed Martin F-22s circling the skies around Iran like vultures waiting on a carcass. The entire Western military-industrial complex flexed, loaded, and pointed, screaming to every nation on earth, pick a side, and you better pick ours. And on that exact same day, family, a plane touched down in Tehran. And off that plane stepped the defense minister of Burkina Faso, a landlocked, sanctioned, isolated nation that Washington has been trying to strangle since 2022. He walked across that tarmac, he shook the hand of the Iranian president. He smiled. That walk, that handshake, that smile, that was not diplomacy. That was a message, written in the language that empires actually understand. And the message said, you do not get to tell Africa who she can love. Buckle up, kings and queens, because today we are dissecting the single most consequential geopolitical chess move in African history since Patrice Lumumba. And we are exposing exactly why Washington is losing its mind, why Paris is hyperventilating into a baguette, and why Ibrahim Traore is operating on a frequency these colonizers simply cannot intercept. Let's get into it. Point number 1, the Tehran blueprint. Why this is the most brilliant alliance in the history of the Sahel. Family, I need you all to stop thinking about this Iran-Burkina Faso meeting through the lens that Western media is trying to sell you. They want you to see this as reckless, dangerous, irresponsible. They want you to clutch your pearls and say, oh no, Traore is getting in bed with terrorists. And I need you to reject that framing completely. Right now, delete it. Here is what this meeting actually was. A masterclass in sovereign survival strategy. Ask yourself one question, and I mean really sit with it. Which country on this planet has been under the most comprehensive, most brutal, most sustained Western sanctions regime in modern history? Which nation has had its banks cut off, its oil blockaded, its currency attacked, its scientists assassinated, its leaders demonized for 40 consecutive years, and still managed to build its own fighter jets, its own ballistic missiles, its own drone program that other nations are now purchasing? Iran. Traore is not choosing Iran because of religion. He is not choosing Iran because of ideology. He is choosing Iran because Iran is the only nation on earth that holds a completed, field-tested, proven blueprint for how to build a sovereign military-industrial complex under maximum Western pressure. And that blueprint is exactly what the Alliance of Sahel States bloc needs right now. The terms reportedly on the table: unmanned aerial vehicle technology transfer, air defense systems, industrial and scientific cooperation, and yes, the whispers about uranium for technology exchanges are floating in the air. And baby, if that's true, let me tell you what that means. It means Burkina Faso's natural resources, resources that France and Areva spent decades extracting for pennies, are now being traded at strategic value for strategic capability. That is not a deal. That is an upgrade. Traore looked at the alliance of Sahel states bloc, landlocked, sanctioned, surrounded by hostile coastal states, fighting jihadist insurgencies that the West deliberately refuses to solve because instability is profitable, and he said, we need to be impossible to destroy.
All right, let me stop this. And I want to ask a question here. Melting pot. Let me ask a question, and for other persons who want to participate. My question: why United States have close relationship with Pakistan, where Pakistan has more nuclear weapon, as a matter of fact, nuclear weapon that locked, ready, and loaded? Why Donald Trump is not pursuing Pakistan? Why? Pakistan is not asking him permission to have nuclear weapons. Pakistan, I want people to Google it, Google search it, had nuclear weapons locked and loaded. Iran doesn't have that. They have dialogue with Iran, doesn't. But you mash down Iran saying that they are breaching nuclear proliferation. But you can't go to Pakistan because you know that Pakistan lock and loaded. You don't see that Donald Trump regime is a bully. And if you are weak, he want to bully you. He doesn't want to take on Pakistan. But he's surprised in terms of what Iran is pushing back. And then you don't want the African country to develop and to be free from Western colonization. So Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore is doing good for his people, but you don't want that. You don't want that to be. And you see, when we talk, you have some people who are scared. Scared. That is one of the reasons why we had spent over 400 years in slavery. And so then now the Caribbean need to stand still and watch Donald Trump regime at work. Eroding sovereignty. Eroding sovereignty. And we have to laugh with it. No. It is wrong. Fundamentally wrong. One has to look into the truth and able to speak it in the ear. And that is one of the reasons why other NATO countries, because if you believe that what Mystic Sensation is saying is wrong, other NATO countries are telling him that he is wrong. So for those who are critiquing me negatively, the other NATO countries that are telling him that he is wrong, what happened to that? Spain turned him down. The UK turned him down. They not support his wrongdoing because he's wrong. Let me just seal back and bring in Melting Pot to close us off. What say you on that, Melting Pot?
Well, when you are dealing with the world affair, you cannot go in as a unilateral individual, you know. You have to go in with the, the knowledge of important organization like United Nations, NATO as an allied. You can't leave them out of the picture. Because if it goes sour, you're going to need help. And in the case of where I'm going right now, even though the report them conflicting, but we know a lot of losses on both sides. Yeah? We know that. Both casualty and in terms of machinery. Yeah? But the simple thing to do right now, because we can't allow a one man for cause a global economic strain, on the world. And the Strait of Hormuz is a very vital trading channel as it relates to oil and other things like fertilizer and stuff like that that are critically essential supply to the world. Now, I don't know how long they were planning between Israel and America to attack Iran. But I know Iran triggered this whole war. And people might listen to Melting Pot now and say, well, Melting Pot, I say, yes, they did it. Because the Iran government came out and killed over 30,000 of its own citizens. Yeah. Students were protesting and they were gunned down in the street by the state. And so that created an uproar, yeah, and an unrest among civilians who wanted the change of the regime. Yeah. They wanted the change of that 86-year-old dictator. Now, just on the back of when things settled down, on 28th of February, war broke out. It was shocking and surprising when I hear that, Iran was under attack from United States and Israel. But sometimes them say one little thing lead to another. So the Iranian administration is to be blamed for sparking the fire. But with all due respect, if America, who is the country that represents the superpower for the rest of the world, they should have seek some form of consultation from Congress and from NATO and from United Nations and from even all the Red Cross. Because I know them people are always up on the ground in a war zone. You can't leave out the Red Cross. You have to go to the relevant authority, man. You can't bypass them and use the might of the presidency of United States. No, not because of the defeat the Gaza people them there. The Gaza them is a different kettle of fish from the Iranian them. The Iranian them control basically the Persian Gulf, Yeah? And they can cause a lot of damage. And they have been causing a lot of damage. A lot of other Arab countries in and around that vicinity, such as Kuwait, United Emirates, and all those other countries, yeah, they are now, Lebanon, they are now joining in. So it is not just concentrated amongst America, Israel, and Iran. It's a widespread war that has escalated and has, been threatening to derail a lot of country economic. And so when I hear comrade leader Mark Jefferson Golden, nudge the crime minister in Jamaica that him supposed to be start looking at how to steer Jamaica away from the perilous time that is facing Jamaica or coming Jamaica way. Yeah, and that is vital information. Yeah, vital information because, the repercussion scale in the next 2 months, we don't know what it might look like. So you have to have a contingency plan in place, working towards, to mitigate any circumstance that will come your way from the current war. So if you know you're oil dependent on what coming through the Strait of Hormuz, then you have to start thinking about alternative. Because you can't have Jamaica shut down without oil, That's a big problem again. I know now have a whole heap of fertilizer down there. I don't know if it don't want to get from Morocco, but we need also fertilizer and it come through the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah? But a lot of things are on the table as it relates to world affair and the geopolitical side of things. Yeah? And one commodity that you can't do without is oil. Jamaica Prime Minister need to have a contingency plan in place so that if the worst becomes a reality and this war extend another 2-3 months, then we have a crippling effect on world trade and world economy. So Andrew, you need to get your house in order because America can't sustain itself. I don't think America going to carry you as part of, him associate because him need all the commodities. Yeah. You don't have no other way out. You understand? So you need to find a way into something that will give you the assurance that you will obtain oil to run Jamaica and to keep Jamaica afloat through the perilous time that we are embarking upon. As a world crisis, you need to have mechanism. I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. So we are going to leave it here. Right. And of course, later is Titans. So join that.
Yeah,
I think I might absent for that because I have some arrangement that I have to do melting pot. So with that being said, right. But I know that of course you Yan Daddy Lonesome can carry the banner.
Well, the Titan have out in a full force tonight. You know, if we 1/3 of the Titan missing, 2/3 can carry the show up on the road same way.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen.
So we just tell the people them say tune in same way the Titan.
Tune into the Titan.
Yeah.
All right. So blessing my people. Right. Sorry, melting pot.
Well, you don't know, you know, we have to bless the people as usual, you know.
Right.
Without them, you know, you don't know, so we wouldn't have the impetus for this. The people them bring we out, you know.
Exactly.
Them bring we out because I mean, like, we come face the music, you know, and talk to my people, you know.
Yes.
And dance and sing and shout with them. You understand? We get great pleasure from doing that. So, big up to the fans, them as usual. Enough respect, enough love and blessing. And remember, Titans. Later will be later. All right.
That's it. All right. Love you people. I'm out. All right. Cool.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right side that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.